Rosie, Alan's got a shot from a distance of this system. Give us your location, Alan, and what you're looking at.
Okay, Gary, I'm at I-35 in Seward looking straight west as this rotation, it's weaker right now than it has been. It's still progressing towards the Guthrie area and then parts to the northeast from there. Now, Gary, I'm looking back. I'm going to tighten up my shot. You can see a beaver's tail forming, a little stinger coming in on the north side of this, and it is getting a little bit tighter to the north end of that wall cloud. And I expect to see that to be a little bit tighter in the next few minutes. A lot of clouds feeding in from the north there, Gary, if you can see from my shot.
Okay, Bobby, is Bobby Payne out there? Get Bobby on the gun here. We have a developing thunderstorm here in the metro, as I talked about a few minutes ago. And Bobby, the core of the storm. Where's my dialogue box up here? If you find that for me. Yeah. Okay, now we're looking at this developing storm in the Oklahoma City area. That's the stuff up right at the top, a little bit to the left. In the distance is the wall cloud. It appears to be the one that's west or near Crescent, out in those areas. So on MOAR, let me just see. Yeah, there it is. You guys just look whatever video. I'm going to tell you, developing thunderstorm here in the metro. It is right along northwest 150th and 164th, 178th. And I think Bobby's headed for it right now. I know Bobby can hear me. It's right along Rockwell, and that's the price. So it's east of Rockwell, and it is north. It is north of Memorial at this moment. So it's east of Rockwell, north of Memorial. This is in northern Oklahoma County. So just keep that in mind. This thing looks it's intensifying rapidly. We're watching on Tower Cam also. There's another thing. Can you take a look at we don't see any velocities of significance with it, but it's pretty close to us. So we just have a thunderstorm going up in the metro, but there's going to be some lightning, some noise, and there it is right there. It should be moving northeast at 30 miles per hour.
Tornado warning for the Pawnee area. That could be there in about 10 minutes. So you have about 10 minutes in Pawnee.
Okay. Let's punch up XL for just a moment. And I'll bring that back down. You guys in Pawnee,
and just
to the west of Pawnee and the north of Pawnee and Pawnee, take immediate tornado precautions. It's a tough-looking storm.
This storm appears to be wrapping up. If we go to Storm Shield here for a moment, the storm that's just northwest of Seward, west of Guthrie, is starting to become more significant in terms of the hook echo on it right now. So continue with the tornado warning across Logan County for you guys just northeast of Cashion. I know it hasn't produced a tornado yet. It's been close, and it sure looks like it, based on radar right now, that it may produce a tornado soon. Gary?
Moving on it northeast, and the one in the Crescent area, 25 miles an hour, so that's slowed a little bit from what we had earlier. And let me see this.
Somebody's trying to get you on the Gettner.
Go ahead. Whoever's on the Gettner, go ahead.
Val? Is that Val?
We got a wall cloud forming, Gary. Yeah, Gary, okay, go ahead, Val. I was saying we got a new wall cloud forming. It's going to be about 5 miles west of Guthrie and about a mile or two south, directly moving right towards Guthrie. But this is more significant than it was earlier. It looked like it weakened earlier. Now it looks like it's trying to reform again, Gary.
6, 7, 8. I've got it 9 miles southwest of Guthrie. David, what do you have?
Okay, Gary, I just passed Cedar Valley Golf Course on 33. It's just south of Cedar Valley Golf Course on 33, 2 miles. That's where it is. Look at the wall cloud. Holy moly. Boy, it looks a lot different. It looks a lot different than it did. Boy, this
it's wrapping up. Okay.
It's
also, when you have it,
33.
Keep talking. And as you talk, we're going to look at MOAR.
Okay.
So go ahead, David.
Okay, again, you can take our stream here. And again, no tornadoes, but here's the winds are now picking up from the north at 30 miles per hour. And this thing is really starting to turn now. I'm west. I'm just west of 33. I'm just west of Highway 33. Okay. I'm just east of Cedar Valley Golf Course. The circulation's going to be just south of Cedar Valley, about 1.5, maybe 2 miles, just south of Cedar Valley.
Thank you.
He's right, though.
Okay,
He's
Val?
exactly right. That's what's happening, Gary.
I see. Whose shot is that now?
2
That
miles.
is David? David.
Yeah.
David.
Yeah,
Talk to me about that thing.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, look how low it is. That thing is about 70% to the ground, and that's the new area of circulation that I crossed underneath when I came up 74 right over me, and now look at it. That thing is like 300, 400 feet above the ground, Gary. That's directly south. That's directly south of Cedar Valley Golf Course. That's directly south of Cedar Valley. And, Gary, this whole thing is spinning now and it's kind of way back. Earlier, the hook and the circulation was up tight next to the core. There's a huge space in between the wall cloud and the core. Big area here where there's no rain, just a wall cloud out by itself. No tornado now, but this thing continues to get stronger and stronger. So, again, I'm going to be 3 miles west, 4 miles west of downtown Guthrie, and I'm going to be a mile and a half east of Cedar Valley Golf Course, looking to the south. You can take our stream. You can see the wall cloud. This thing is, just a few hundred feet above the ground. It is turning. No tornado, though. Gary, back to you.
Okay, as you guys just jump in anytime, but I'll tell you, we're looking at MOAR, which is high-resolution, real-time radar. And David, I can see you and Val both right there on West University Avenue, the highway just west of Guthrie. And the circulation, really, from the back side of it to the kind of east side, it's a huge 2 miles across that thing. Like you were saying, there's a big gap in there. It's cycling. Looks like to me it's going to put down a big tornado.
Well, we're watching it. It's about a mile and a half straight south of me, and I'm 4 miles west of the western edge of Guthrie right now. And as David said a while ago, it is rotating. It's not tight rotation at the moment, but, man, this thing probably 300 or 400 yards right off the ground. I mean, it's hugging the ground right now. And the way this is moving, Gary, I think it's moving slightly north of due east, and at some point it's going to cross Highway 33, probably on the west side of Guthrie or maybe in Guthrie. Gary?
All righty, you guys in Guthrie continue tornado precautions. In fact, all along the highway west of Guthrie, it's passing Cedar Valley, but there's other golf courses all along there. So if you know people out there, call them, tweet them, whatever you do to alert them to this danger. And so once again, it may cycle again. A huge wall cloud you're looking at, that very low to the ground. It looks like
Edmond continues to intensify.
Val's on it's interesting. They're close together, but yet this thing is absolutely amazing. Looks like it's going to put down a huge tornado. When you have something, Val or David, just jump in. And by the way, the storm in Edmond now is intensifying. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead, David.
It's more the same. It is turning, and it looks like Val said, this is going to go right into Guthrie. There's no doubt about it. It would have to lift completely north of 33. And Gary, looks like to me it's almost moving, at least the hook at this point, the mesocyclone, looks like it's moving, now it's straight south. I mean, it looks like it's moving due east. So it's going to have to really start to make a turn and start to lift a little farther north. But either way, I think at least the impacts are that if you live in Guthrie or just west of Guthrie, you need to be in your safe spot right now. And there's no tornado on the ground, but the wall cloud obviously getting better and better organized. And Gary just continues to turn slowly. And but it's getting a little tighter, it looks like. So we're just underneath it here, looking off to our south at it. But no tornado. Gary, back to you.
Okay, thank you. Let me tell you, for the folks, I know the sirens are going off in Guthrie now, and I think it's a very wise decision. I need to zoom in on just that right there. Okay. There's a projection, by the way, as you look at it. It's moving in toward Guthrie. It's along the highway west of Guthrie, southwest of Guthrie, and it's a huge, huge wall cloud. And if you guys want to split screen, whatever you want to do in the control room is fine with me. I just want to tell you it's in the vicinity of Cedar Valley. It's just southwest of Guthrie. And how about on that projection? When did it say Guthrie?
East, yeah, I'll back out. It's east-northeast on the movement. And let me get out of here.
Go ahead.
We'll have that projection in just a moment.
We'll get a new projection on this.
There you go.
But it's suffice to say, from west of Guthrie, 10 or so miles, into Guthrie, south of Guthrie, north of Guthrie, take immediate tornado precautions. And what that means is below ground is best. A cellar, a basement, a safe room, a flat safe. You take shelter in there immediately. This thing may well produce a large damaging tornado in Guthrie. Now, it may cycle again. It may look like nothing's going to happen. Then it may come right back again.
You have about 10 minutes if you live on the west side of Guthrie, 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes, west side of Guthrie. We have two storm trackers, Val Kessler, David Payne, just north of it. And as you look at whatever you guys just punch up whatever you think there. I'm going to look at some of these. I said it's from downtown Guthrie. It is 4.23 miles southwest of Guthrie. This is part of the circulation, 4.35, and then part of the circulation goes up just west-southwest of Guthrie, 4.46. No tornado as of yet, but in Guthrie, take your immediate tornado precaution. We got to go sky news.
We're just looking for it.
Okay.
Yeah, they're looking.
All righty. So, Val, what do you have? Val's on the Guthrie storm. Val, go ahead.
Okay, Gary, we're still watching the wall cloud. It's still about 1.5 miles or so south of Highway 33, and it is moving almost due east, maybe possibly slightly north of due east. It doesn't appear, it's not as menacing looking as it was before, but it is still low to the ground. It is rotating, and it's going to be moving right over Guthrie. You know, Guthrie is a spread out town from north to south, and it goes quite a few miles south there. So this thing is definitely going to move right over some part of Guthrie, Gary.
All righty. So once again,
he's right.
Go ahead, David.
Well, no, he's right. You know, the Guthrie, Guthrie runs from 33 all the way back down to the split off there on I-35. So it's definitely a north-south city. And again, well, like you said, it's kind of holding its own, Gary. I'm now at the East Cedar Valley Golf Course here, and passing it right now, looking off to my right, and circulation is still there. But nothing on the ground, no tornado on the ground. Circulation continues to be there, and the winds are flowing into us just right, just like they're supposed to. So this thing is still a mesocyclone.
Is that James? Where's James? James not giving us a shot. We're going to drop south, guys. Holler if something big comes up there. It looks like the storm in Guthrie's cycling, so it could weaken a little bit, come back and produce tornado. Let's go to Storm Shield. We're looking to the southwest. And we're going to check in with Bob Mills, Sky News 9. Go ahead, Jim.
Right now, Gary, I'm back over Chickasha, shooting back to the west. You're looking at that storm right there. You're starting to see a pretty good lowering there on the backside of this storm. Now, this storm kind of broke away from that other storm that was building up behind it that was kind of undercutting it. And now it's cycling through again. We're getting a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning out of the front of this, but you can see a wedge shape starting to form right there. It is very low to the ground. There's nothing visible on the ground at this time or no indication of a tornado, but it is trying to get its act together, Gary. And right now, like I said, we're sitting over Chickasha, shooting straight back to the west of that storm. That's probably about 3 or 4 miles to my west from downtown Chickasha right now. But you're seeing right here in the middle of your screen from Bob Mills, Sky News 9, it's really trying to cycle up. They're really trying to do something. So, people in Chickasha here might want to start thinking about, taking their tornado precautions as this storm moves. I think it's trying to get its act together again, Gary. And so nothing, like I said, nothing on the ground yet, but we'll keep you updated. Jim Gardner reporting live from Bob Mills, Sky News 9, back to you.
Yeah, it looks like the more east these storms go, the more favorable it becomes to produce tornadoes. Yours looks very impressive. It may just be cycling again, but I can tell you what, you folks from east of Anadarko to Chickasha and Middleburg and Blanchard and maybe later Newcastle, you should be taking your tornado precautions, or at least staying very, very alert. Time of arrival on the south storm. And I'm watching it also on the helicopter and also watching the stuff up north. No tornado near Guthrie at the moment, just a strong circulation, but could touch down any time. Chickasha, 238, Amber, 250, Middleburg, 309, Bridge Creek, 318. That's on the northern edge of it. Blanchard, possibly there, 321, Dibble, 322, Cole, 332, Newcastle, 333, Washington, 344, Goolsby, 346, Lloyd Noble, if it makes it that far, Lloyd Noble in Norman will be 353, OU campus, 354, downtown Norman, 355, and Noble, 359. It's east-northeast. What are we doing, 25 or 30 on this?
I have 25.
We're moving 25. Go ahead.
Yes.
Hi, Gary. This is James.
Go ahead, James.
I'm sitting west of Chickasha on Highway 62. Got a very, very large wall cloud now trying to develop in front of me. It's literally started forming in the last, probably the last 10, 15 minutes while everyone's been talking. But, this thing is really, really now ramping up and trying to get its act together. So people in Chickasha definitely want to be on the alert. This could produce a tornado here within the next 30 minutes. It's really, really starting to get its act going.
How about going up a little bit, elevation-wise? Oh, go ahead. Who do we have there?
You got Val, I think.
Go, Val.
Gary, we're on the west side of Guthrie right now. The wall cloud we've been watching, the lowering, it's still there. But it looks like to me that there's going to be a new circulation, a new meso, possibly a new wall cloud form just a little east of there. Matter of fact, we're starting to see a slight bit of a lowering to our southeast. This would be right over the main heart of Guthrie right now. So that's something we need to keep in mind, too, and watch that area just a little east of the old wall cloud, Gary.
Okay. It just continues to recycle. We have this other storm right here in the metro.
Sorry.
And we might just do a quick check on Moar. Of course, we have the Guthrie storm. We have the storm moving toward Chickasha. Both of them capable of producing a tornado at any moment. This one continues to intensify. It's northern Oklahoma County, southern Logan County. And Bobby Payne is coming up behind that storm. But it does bear watching. It's organizing itself. Right in here is Waterloo Road. So the south edge of it at the moment is Covell. You can see it's elongated. The west edge is Western. So it's east of Western and north of Covell, and it goes all the way up to East Forest Hills Road, South Guthrie that might be, and I see Alan Brosey right in there. So that storm's intensifying. And Sky News 9, let's go to the south storm also. Bob Mills, Jim Gardner, take a look and talk.
Well, right now, Gary, you're looking at a very large lowering, very large wall cloud. Now, this is only about, I would say, 4 or 5 miles to the west of Chickasha here. So, I mean, it is very low to the ground. It's actually lower than we are right now. I mean, it's below my altitude. What I'm flying at right now is that lowering right now. But you can see it starting to tighten up, starting to rotate around. You can see the upper level part of it there. That is trying to come together. So it's you just see the steps down as it comes down and trying to form that tighten up at the bottom there. If this tightens up at the bottom, Gary, this is definitely going to drop a tornado. And like I said, right now, just estimation, I would say it's about maybe around Burton, around there, maybe about 4 or 5 miles directly west of Chickasha at this time. So again, we'll keep an eye on it, Gary. It's very volatile right now, so just at any moment something could happen, but we'll keep you updated. Jim Gardner reporting live from Bob Mills, Sky News 9, back to you.
All right, impressive wall cloud. Once again, this is a storm east of Anadarko moving toward Chickasha. You're rest assured that thing could produce a tornado at any time. It may cycle again. And I see Alan Brosey. Alan, what do you have?
Okay, Gary, I'm on the southeast side of Guthrie right now. I do have a little bit of rotation over me and a little bit better rotation over the north side of Guthrie. That looks a little bit better. It's going to go ahead and stand by. Okay, I got Scud rising into it now, so that's going to be the newer muzzle appears right over Guthrie.
I'm in Guthrie, downtown.
Yeah, it's right over downtown. I got Scud rising into it. It looks a little tighter, a lot darker, and I can tell rotation. I'm about 4 miles to the southeast of it right now, and I can tell that's the new spot to look.
Yeah, that's quite a shot you have of it. David Payne's in Guthrie. David, go ahead.
All right, Gary, again, just cruising through Guthrie here, and like Val was saying, the sirens are blowing for good reason, and again, it's just a big lowering. It's fairly broad right now, but it's basically going right over the downtown area of Guthrie currently. I'm headed towards the Temple now on the east side of Guthrie, and just a big area of rotation. Nothing crazy, nothing out of control, but it is turning, and it's a big lowering. It looks like it's trying to get its act together now as it comes into the basically the heart of Guthrie. It looks like it's trying to get better organized, but right now I do not see anything on the ground, but the rotation is still with us, so we just got to keep tracking this thing. This is a big, big storm, and keeps marching east. Gary, back to you.
Okay, it's passing over the Guthrie area now, and you guys are right with it, David and Val, and Alan's just southeast of it. It's cycling again. I mean, they increase, they become very threatening, and then they'll reorganize, move on a little bit, and start increasing in wind speeds again. Eventually, they normally produce tornadoes when they're doing this. That's happening with the Guthrie storm, and as I'm watching on MOAR, live radar, is beginning to tighten up again somewhat. The Chickasha storm moving directly toward Chickasha. Has a strong circulation, but I might say, once again, these circulations are nothing like what we had with the Moore tornado a week ago Monday. Their circulations, they're there, and they can produce tornadoes, but they're not that strong at the moment. But the more they go to the east, the more they could do that. And I see, as I'm looking on velocities, the Guthrie area, there's a lot of rotation, a lot of wind speed rotation in there, but it's not tight, and it's not extremely high speed at this particular time. So we have that tornado warning, and actually the tornado warning really officially has been extended all the way over to northwestern Lincoln, western Payne, and central Logan County. So from Guthrie northeast into Payne County and east into Lincoln County, just stay alert. And that's Guthrie and Perkins and Langston and Tryon and Coyle and Meridian. Go ahead. So, David, what do you have? Okay, Alan, I got you, Alan, on Storm Action 2. What do you have?
Hey, Gary, you go on, Alan.
Go ahead. Alan?
Yeah, Gary, I'm with you.
Go ahead.
The circulation I'm watching just crossed I-35. It's very low to the ground. It does have rotation to it. It is taking shape. It looks like a small funnel trying to form out of it. But I'm not under it, so I'm looking back to my northeast.
Alan, we're going to switch to Bob Mills Sky News 9. Incredible picture, huge wall cloud, strong rotation, and Jim Gardner, talk to us.
Well, that's right, Gary. I mean, it's still trying to get its act together, but that wall cloud, like I said before, is lower than I am at my altitude. Just a massive wall cloud. Now, it don't have the upper rotation up in that topper ring you might see like the Moore tornado did. It's just kind of lazy right here. It's just kind of lazy, just kind of working itself. We see it kind of spin up and then come down. You can see the very bottom of it there. It's just cycling around, Gary. It gets really ragged, and it'll start tightening up. So it's just kind of sitting here being lazy right now. And like I said, I believe that's due to that don't have that upper level rotation that the Moore tornado had. But it's very impressive wall cloud. Nothing to be, you need to take your precautions here, because if this thing all of a sudden just tightened up, it would drop a massive tornado. Like I said, it's just west of Chickasha at this time. But again, nothing significant. Right now, we're right in a very, very good spot, so we can just let you know it in a moment's notice there, Gary. Jim Gardner reporting live from Bob Mills, Sky News 9. Back to you.
Okay, what you're looking at right there is what we call a south storm at the moment, and it's been cycling. Looks like it's increasing some again. It's near Verdon, moving directly toward Chickasha, and I'm going to walk down there on another radar.
Go ahead and go to view 3.
All right. All right, it's moving east. We'll call it east-northeast, 25 miles an hour. Chickasha, 238, Amber, 249, Middleburg, 308, Bridge Creek, 317, parts of Blanchard, 321, Dibble, 322, Cole, 332, Newcastle, parts of Newcastle, 332, Washington, 343, all the way down to Goldsby. If it makes it all the way to OU, it'd be Lloyd Noble Center, 353, and OU at 354. It doesn't show the hook echo at the moment. The winds are not quite as organized as they were, which is good, but it is organizing. Until you look at, in fact, you're looking at that. Yeah, just a second. On the other, you might want to put on Alan Brosey's shot of the storm at Guthrie, both of them. If you can get both of them on there, guys. The one on you got to show the Sky News 9 shot, and let's put in Alan's shot too. Go ahead.
Hey, Gary, it's Hank, and I'm in between Chickasha and Verdon, just to the east of this large wall cloud, and the rotation has really started picking up here in about the last 10 minutes. We've got a large bell-shaped lowering, and the whole storm has actually turned hard right, and it's moving more to the east-southeast than it was. But we have pretty pronounced rotation right now. It's going to be just east of Verdon right now, Gary.
Okay, Hank, good to have you on there. Storm tracker Hank Brown, Patty Brown. Watching this wall cloud, you folks in Chickasha vicinity, just look to the west, and you'll see this coming toward you. Don't stay outside, though, because this thing could tighten up quickly. It's a major rotation. It's just not as tight. The winds are not quite as close together, those ones that are blowing in opposite directions. But as we look at Sky News 9's shot, we see, a major wall cloud, as major as they get. We see upward motion into the storm. We see rotation, and I imagine we're a mile or 2 miles away from this. Well, as you look at that, I will tell you that's a huge wall cloud approaching Chickasha, so continue the tornado precautions down there. Bobby's on another storm. You don't need to take that. I'm just looking at what he has on radar. So Bobby's storm is north of Waterloo in Logan County. It's right along in Logan County. It's South Douglas Boulevard. That's in Logan County, all right? And it's also parts of Westminster as it goes into Logan County. Find you an east-west road there, Rancho Drive. So it's a mile north of Waterloo. That's the back edge of the one that Bobby Payne is on. But what you're watching right there, and it doesn't look, you look at that wall cloud, how fast they changed, not quite as organized. How the winds look on that? It's there. Well, we indicate the south one. It's still there. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. Gary, he's on 33 now, east of Guthrie.
Go ahead.
Okay, again, I'm just east of Guthrie here, looking back at the wall cloud, and still impressive. No tornado on the ground, but the wall cloud now scooting over I-35. And, again, the rotation still there, still a big lowering, but no tornado. We've had some nickel-dime
correct?
Okay, roger that.
Go ahead. He may be talking traffic there, but it looks like the wall cloud's getting close to the ground. Sometimes they get close to the ground, it's more likely to produce a tornado. So, Bob Mills, Sky News 9, Jim Gardner, if you can hear me, what's your take on that? Because it looks a little bit lower.
Yeah, it is a little bit lower, Gary, but it's pretty ragged. It is not it's not well as defined as it was before. Right now, I'm coming up 44 here, just in Chickasha, shooting back. You can see right at the lower right-hand portion of your screen there, as we start to move into Chickasha, shooting back to the northwest of that wall cloud. You can see it's starting to get pretty ragged there, but you know, like I said, it's cycling. It's got a little feeder band going into it in the front there. So it's still definitely working on it, Gary. It's definitely not, we're not out of the woods yet with this storm. It could, like you said, as the further it goes east, it could very likely start to get more energy and spin right back up. But it is very low to the ground. Like I said, it's below my altitude where I'm flying and shooting back. But it's still pretty impressive, and at any moment it could possibly drop a tornado, but hopefully not. But we'll keep you updated, Gary. Jim Gardner reporting live from Bob Mills, Sky News 9. Back to you.
What altitude are you at, Jim?
Well, right now I'm just probably about above ground level, probably about 400 or 500 feet. So that would say that where you're looking at the center of that storm wall cloud is only maybe a couple of 100 feet above the ground, if not 100 feet above the ground every now and then. So it's dipping down very, very low here. And like I said, you're starting to see more Chickasha come into your shot there as we shoot back to the northwest on this storm. But a pretty impressive wall cloud, Gary.
Yeah, that lowering wall cloud is not a good thing. So once again, tornado warning continues from west of Chickasha to the Chickasha area. And you can just look at that, and I'm going to read off a few of these again. Chickasha 236, that's downtown Chickasha. Middleburg 306, Blanchard 317. And really, if it continues on its present course, it will pass just a little south of Norman. But we widen that fan out just as a precaution. The red line would be the primary line, and that's going to go to Chickasha and also Middleburg and points on the east there, Dibble and Kreiner and Cole. Let's go Middleburg, Blanchard, Dibble, Kreiner, Cole, Washington, Goldsby. And it should, like I said, if it continues the east, generally east movement, it passes a little south of Norman, at least south of downtown Norman. And it moves toward the Purcell area and Noble and Lexington and Slaughterville. It continues to be, as you can see, very, very impressive. We see upward motion into it. We see rotation. A wall cloud many times is like this. It's a rotation, a lowering from the cloud base, a rotation usually in a rain-free area, not always. And sometimes from wall clouds come tornadoes. Sometimes they're little tiny tornadoes. Sometimes they're huge tornadoes. Sometimes they're not a tornado at all. So it's moving east at 30. And I'm watching, it continues to, we keep saying organizer cycle, and that's exactly what's happening with the Chickasha storm. It's reorganizing. It is a tornado threat at any time. There's new storms down near Lawton. You guys down there, be aware they are there. Storms at Lawton. Then on the north storm, now it looks like that storm moving east of 35 up by Guthrie is organized again, at least on radar. And I see Bobby Payne's up that way. We have all our storm trackers around.
Gary, it's getting ready to eat the Edmund storm pretty much. I mean, it's about to, this thing, they're about to merge.
Okay. If you will look at Excel, go ahead and talk about that.
Okay.
Tell me what we talk about. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you
right on 62, right at my position on Moar, just a couple of miles west of 81. We've got a real rapid rotation at the bottom of this cloud base. You see my picture or my position on Moar? It is just a few hundred yards to the east of me, right on 62. The real ugly part of the wall cloud is to the south of it, but this is right off the edge of the core with these white. Is that caught up yet? That shot you're seeing is not caught up yet. Here in a second, we'll turn around and you'll see that shot. We have real rapid rotation, real low-hanging wall cloud. Right, it's just right east of me. So you can see there on Moar, quite a bit west of Chickasha, about 4 miles east of Burden, and it's right on 62 where this rapid rotation. The storm is cycling, and it looks like this rotation has moved just a little bit further north right now, Gary.
Okay, we see where you are, Hank. We can do a quick check on Moar. You'll see Hank is on the highway just west of Chickasha. James is in Chickasha. Sky News 9 just south. Tom and Rob just to the east. So anything happens, you guys will know immediately. Bob Mills, Sky News 9. Jim Gardner, I see a town right there. I assume we're looking at Chickasha, and we're looking a little bit to the northwest, or north now. Thank you. That's Chickasha.
Hey, Gary.
You go ahead.
Gary, I just want to let you know we're on the Guthrie storm here. It weakened and tried to cycle. That's what it's been doing for about
the most motion we've seen in it all day here since we've been tracking this. It's starting to really want to turn and everything. We're getting a bigger feeder band cloud going into it. And like that's Chickasha, the water tower, right just going out of your screen to your left there is the Chickasha water tower. So I'm just on the southeast edge of town here, shooting back to the northwest. It's going to be 62. It looks like it's right under that wall cloud. But again, definitely picking up a lot more activity here, Gary. Even though it looks kind of ragged out right now, it has definitely got a lot more motion than most motion it's had any time today. So again, we'll keep an eye on it. Keep you updated, Gary. Back to you.
Jim Gardner, appreciate that very much. Yeah, we're looking at the wall cloud over Chickasha, approaching Chickasha. You guys keep in mind, you may not see the tornado coming from the wall cloud. You might see debris or dust on the ground. That might be the first sign that there's a tornado on the ground. You don't always see it as an actual funnel cloud when it first starts, or sometimes even after that. But this thing has a great uplift, a significant rotation, and I don't know whether that's rain I see on the left portion of the screen there from the wall cloud, or is that dust? But this is still a tornadic threat. Now, the storm up where Val is on the storm east of Interstate 35. Val, go ahead.
Yeah, Gary, we're on the Guthrie storm here. Over about the past 15 or 20 minutes, this storm has been reorganizing. It looks like it's cycled. It's trying to reorganize now. There's also another storm that it appears to be eating or ingesting, basically, just to the south of it. But, Gary, just within the past 5 minutes, it's trying to get better organized to our north. As a matter of fact, it's formed a new lowering straight north of us, which is going to be south-southwest of Langston, probably about 4 miles or so south-southwest of Langston is where the new circulation is formed. And looks like to me it's starting to strengthen again and get better organized, Gary.
All right. Appreciate that report very much. David Payne's on that same storm. David, you on to get her? Okay. We're going to go back down to Chickasha. Moore, let's take a look at Moore, south to Chickasha. Take a look at Moore. And this storm is organizing again. And I want to point this out. Sirens are blowing in Chickasha, so if you're just going outside to look, that's a major circulation passing over you. It is passing over Chickasha, or very close to Chickasha. No sign of a tornado. Once again, we have Hank on the west side. Sky News 9 is there on the south. James is just right there under it. And Tom and Rob just to the west. We'll check in quickly with James. James, what do you have? Storm action 3. It takes time to punch him up here.
Hi, Gary. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, James.
Yeah, I can. I'm looking directly west of me on 62. I'm on the east side of 44, looking back west, and there is a reasonably large wall cloud. You can see it on my stream. There's lots of left to right motion going on, and it's not really violent motion like we saw on the May 20th tornado and more. This storm is definitely not as strong, but it's Mother Nature. She can spring a surprise on you whenever she wants. But at the moment, it looks like it's still trying to organize itself. But every now and then it's looking disorganized, and every now and then, it does produce something, a little bit more interesting.
Okay, appreciate the report. That's James Menzie, who's down with the storm near Chickasha. The wind velocities, the wind pattern doesn't look really that significant at the moment, but, you can't always trust that, so you continue with the tornado warning moving toward Chickasha and Middleburg.
Severe. They do not have a warning.
Okay,
Yeah, that is severe.
Okay, severe on that, I'm sorry. And so the winds have weakened somewhat in that. And we'll go north here. This storm, Langston, Coyle area. How do the velocities look on it?
The most significant rotation on that one is due east of Guthrie, Gary. It's going to be south of Highway 33, south of Langston by about 6 miles, south-southwest of Langston.
Okay, how about Bobby, you down there?
Hello.
That's
Bobby,
David.
go ahead.
This is Payne.
Go ahead, David.
Okay, sorry. Hey, we're just getting on 105, Gary. Going to be we're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 miles southeast of Langston on 105, looking out to the north. This is that Guthrie storm, and again, we have a new area, a rotation here that's developed again north of 105. Again, it is turning. It is slow, But like Val was saying, we're eating up another small storm to our south. So this thing is reorganizing right now, but no tornado on the ground. You can see the wall cloud there. It is turning, but right now it's just slow rotation. It's going to be pretty much on top of or real close to being over Langston. I'm looking back to my northwest, and Langston is to my northwest about 5 miles or so. So it's right on top or really close to Langston, where the center of circulation is as it continues to march off to the east-northeast. Guys, back to you.
Part of the screen. Yeah. Okay, thanks, David. Appreciate that very much. And I see, I'm gonna look at these videos. What I see up there, Val, what do you have? Val Castor's up that way on the Guthrie storm, east of Guthrie. Val?
Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, Val, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm on the Highway 105 here, and we're going to be straight directly south of Langston. And just what David was saying just a second ago, the storm is getting better organized. It's formed a new area of rotation, trying to form a ring off our northwest. And it looks like that area is going to be somewhere south, probably south of Langston a little ways. What I would think about now, what we probably need to think about now is eventually this storm looks like it's going to move up to around Perkins or so. So anybody in the path from south of Langston up to near Perkins needs to watch this close, Gary.
All righty, and someone needs to move Tower Cam around and point it at Okarche. We have another storm going up near Okarche. Okay. Probably needs to go a little bit left. Can we punch that up full screen, please? There's another storm going up near Okarche. May or may not do anything. Okarche is northwest of Oklahoma City. The whole storm complex east of Guthrie and in the Coyle-Langston area, Perkins area, and Cushing, Drumright. Just be alert. That thing is probably organizing again. It's produced what it looks like very strong hook echoes, and we call them moderate, what we call mesocyclones. And we're looking to our west. Right there, I think that's a good shot right there on the Tower Cam. You see west of Oklahoma City, we still have what we call towers. That's cumulus sometimes grow up, and they become thunderstorms. So we'll be watching that very carefully. But the storm Coyle-Langston, Perkins, you know, you guys all through there. Coyle-Langston, Perkins down to Tryon, Kearney, where I had an F4 the other day, as I recall. Aledo, it's a little north of Meridian. A lot of people on that particular storm. At the moment in Oklahoma County, we don't have anything that threatening, but we have that storm east of Guthrie. And right now, it looks like we're past south of you guys in Stillwater and be moving over toward Cushing at time of arrival. If it continues on the straight line course, the red line when you see a projection, and you got Pathfinder on there? Try Pathfinder. Okay, the red line in the middle of that yellow configuration, that indicates where we think the center of it is and where it really should go, but sometimes it goes left, sometimes it goes right. So we'd say close to Perkins, Langston's in your vicinity, then Perkins 309, Ripley at 329, Agar 330, Avery 348, then Cushing at 349. If it continued like it's moving, you guys at Cushing would be, you would be the target. Now, right now, I tell you, we still have that very severe storm with a tornado warning on it in Pawnee County, and it looks like it's lifting just northeast of Pawnee. We have the tornado warning on the one north of us, and then we have the storm down to the south, the Chickasha storm, and it doesn't look, it's severe, but it doesn't look that impressive at the moment. The winds have become less favorable, which, let me tell you, is really good. There are a few...
large hail.
Has large hail. Yeah. We're getting another echo just... And there's the wall cloud. It looks nothing like its former self, which is great. So let's go to Bob Mills, Sky News 9, Jim Gardner. Jim, go ahead.
We're exactly right, Gary. It looks like Chickasha's going to be in the clear here. And like you said, it has kind of fallen apart. It's more lined out. It's almost like it's trying to form a little squall line now out in front of this storm. So it's not near as impressive as it was. The rotation is not near as impressive, but there is a lot of rain still falling out of this thing, and a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning up to the front, up to the northeast of me here with this storm. And I think I heard Michael say there's possibly some pretty big hail in this possible could come out of it. But right now, the good thing is it looks like it's kind of lining itself out. It's not as impressive as it was. But as we all know, you know, at any time, if it reaches the right ingredient here, it can spin back up into a pretty impressive wall cloud. But it looks like it's past Chickasha, so Chickasha's in the clear. That's a good thing. And nothing significant right now. Jim Gardner reporting live from Bob Mills, Sky News 9. Back to you, Gary.
All right. You know, that, like I said, it doesn't even resemble its former self, so it's running into somewhat more unfavorable conditions. It doesn't really look like it is organizing that much. It may be reorganizing, and it may well do that very quickly. Right. So we're watching the storm at Chickasha, and it's not even indicated as severe at the moment. And then we're looking severe on the storm up the Langston area, and still a tornado warning on it. And that's eastern Logan County, far eastern Logan County into southern Payne County, northern sections of Lincoln County. And Mike, you want to hit that and Storm Shield and zoom in on those areas on those storms?
Yeah, you want each one of them? Just do
yeah, well, the Stillwater, then the Chickasha storm, I think.
Okay. All right, at this moment right now, we have the big storm that's down south of the metro. Right now, Oklahoma City really is looking pretty good, with the exception of Norman on the south side, as far as the metro is involved at this particular time. So the storm that's approaching Chickasha, again, these have been, they've had rotation. They're obviously supercells. You can look at the storms very clearly on all the shots, and we've been showing them on radar. They are rotating. They're just not rotating very strongly. That is, it has yet to tighten up. So the wind profiles, particularly in the low levels of the atmosphere, have not been favorable for tornadoes to develop with these storms just yet. But it may become favorable. And so when you already have a rotating storm, if the wind conditions change just a little bit in the low levels, it could change in a big hurry. So we have to watch these because the storms are already rotating, and that's an important point to make. And again, we still continue with tornado warnings up to the north. This is on this storm that's just east of Guthrie. That's going to be lifting eventually east-northeastward toward Cushing. What we might do is check in on Pathfinder on that particular storm and get some time of arrivals downstream. Let's think about it this way. Cushing, it could be up toward you in about, let's see, 3:49 is when we have our projected time on there for the Cushing area. So you guys in Cushing, just stay aware, because that thing can, it can go south on you in a hurry, and especially with it ingesting this other storm. Sometimes in the past, when we have seen a big storm ingest another storm, sometimes it does some terrible things. So we're going to watch that very closely across eastern Logan County as it crosses into Lincoln County here over about the next 30 minutes. And let's check in with David, who's on that storm. David, are you seeing any changes in the characteristic of this storm as this merger is taking place?
Well, here's the deal, Michael.
Okay, lost David there for a second. We'll get back to him. Val, I know you're there as well. Val, can you talk to me about it?
Yeah, Mike, this storm here, like you said, it just ingested another storm. It just ate another storm. And a lot of times when that happens, it tends to weaken it briefly. And then after that happens, it either kills it or gets stronger. And right now, it appears to me that this thing is slowly trying to get a little bit better organized. And the area of rotation, by my estimation, is going to be south of the Langston Coil area by about probably 4 miles, give or take, on this, Mike.
Okay. Yeah, I show very, very large hail indicated on MOAR just east of Coil and the Langston area with the core of that particular storm. So you can see the storm trackers here. This is where the rotation is located. It is 2 miles directly north of Meridian and 1 mile east. And we're getting a new radar update right now as MOAR sweeps through it. So now, guys, I'm telling you what, the hook echo is starting to look more significant, Val, just to your north, and David, just to your northwest. So 2 miles northwest of David Payne's location, 1 mile northeast of Val's location. It looks like, as this storm merger is taking place, at least on MOAR, it's becoming more significant. And that's going to be lifting to the east-northeast. Again, it looks like it'll pass south of Perkins at this point and stay across northeastern portions. This is, right now, this is in Logan County. And once it crosses over just south of Perkins, this would be Lincoln County, right in this location. And here's Perkins, and Perkins sits in southeastern Payne County. So you can see David and Val's location right here. So this is the area we're watching the closest. Let me measure that from Perkins. Just for anybody who's down in that area, I want to take our ruler here. And the center of circulation is 12 miles, approximately 12 miles southwest of Perkins, okay? And from the Logan County line, it would be, that's the Logan-Lincoln County line. It's 4 miles west of the Logan-Lincoln County line. And from Coil, it is 5 miles south-southeast of Coil, approximately. So again, it looks on radar like it's taking on a little bit more of an ominous shape in the reflectivity structure. I'm going to check velocities while we're doing that. Remember, this is the only tornado-warned storm that we have in our viewing area. So for those of you that are outside the area that are going, why am I not talking about your storm? Well, we don't have any other tornado warnings. This is the only storm that has a tornado warning on it right now. So we're monitoring that one very closely. Also, the storm we're watching down near Chickasha is strong, but there's no real, there's nothing dramatic about the velocity presentation yet. A new storm starting to develop just south of Tuttle as well that we're noticing on radar, just northwest of Bridge Creek. So we'll have to see how that evolves, if that becomes a supercell or not. It's certainly not anywhere close to it yet, but just want to alert you to the fact there's a new storm. Also, I'll tell you, back to the west of Elgin and northwest of Lawton, down the H.E. Bailey Turnpike, if you look at XL here, west of Elgin, northwest of Lawton. This storm has been intensifying, not rapidly, but it is a strong storm, got some hail with it. That it's going to be moving up near Medicine Park and to the east-northeast toward Elgin and Fletcher and Sterling. So you guys down in southwestern Oklahoma, again, just stay alert. No severe thunderstorm warnings and no tornado warnings on that. We still have the severe thunderstorm warning near Chickasha.
Set up on the green board out there.
Okay.
And so, are we on XL right now?
Yes.
And tell you what, you get set up, I'll tell you, that storm northeast of Guthrie still capable of producing a tornado. The one north of Pawnee capable. The new storm northwest of Guthrie. There's that new one northeast of Okarche. And this is what was down near Chickasha. When it weakened somewhat and the configuration went away, it started building to the north. And so that's a new little cell going up just south of Mustang. Once again, Oklahoma City's upper right. Okay. And so we'll watch these. These may build up. And as I look at tower cam, and if you're at home and you look out the window, it is very unstable. That means the air, once it starts up, continues to go up right here in the metro. And conditions for tornadoes in central, south central, and eastern Oklahoma, and points to the north and northeast of Oklahoma City. That area will continue to be favorable for tornadic activity. We haven't had that yet, but it has come very, very close. Fortunately, those storms cycled. And so if we take an area, if you're east of a line, say from Pawnee to El Reno to, let's call it Lawton, Pawnee to El Reno to Lawton, east of that line, the risk of tornadoes will continue in that particular area. So please keep that in mind. That includes the Oklahoma City metro area. And if you look at the clouds out there, they are very, very unstable. So right now, we have the tornado warning continue east of Guthrie into southern Payne County into northwestern Lincoln County. You guys stay alert there. Big storm that was over the Chickasha area weakened considerably, but it may well reorganize. The storm in the Coyle-Langston area is a little bit diffuse, a little bit less organized than it actually was. You need some help?
No, I got it.
Yeah. So Mike's going to get out here on the green board and go through a few things. And Mike, if you need him, just call for him and we'll have him.
Okay, what I was putting on severe thunderstorm warnings, just to let you all know. We've got some behind the scenes going on here, but I wanted to get the severe thunderstorm warnings on. This is important. We have the one tornado warned storm that's east of Guthrie right now. This storm basically just ingested or ate a storm that tried to form over over Edmond. And as it lifted northeast now, they've merged into one storm. And sometimes, as I mentioned a little earlier, that can get serious in a hurry. So we'll check in again with the storm trackers here very shortly. So on a broad view around the stakes, and I know we got a lot of viewers in the metro, but also outside the metro as well. So we're watching this particular storm. Notice it's still south of Oklahoma City, and it's mainly moving to the east toward, it could make Norman. You guys may get some large hail in Norman. So we'll watch it. If it turns a little bit to the left and would go maybe to the east-northeast, it would come up over Norman. Then also you have the very intense activity that's lifting up near east of Pawnee as well. So that could impact areas over near Tulsa. So if you got friends and family up over north of Tulsa, perhaps in the Owasso area, Collinsville, Skiatook, probably Skiatook's going to be a little too far north with that one. But across to Osage County, as it moves on over into Tulsa County, that would be one to watch as well. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
4 miles southeast of Coyle.
4 miles southeast of Coyle. New circulation 4 miles southeast of Coyle. That's on the north storm. We'll check in with the storm trackers in just a moment. The other shot you see is Bob Mills Sky News 9 HD. They are showing you what it looks like with the storm right now that's moving just to the east of the Chickasha area. And as Jim Gardner mentioned earlier on Bob Mills Sky News 9 HD, it does look like it is past the Chickasha area. So, guys in Chickasha, stay on guard because the boundary that's forming these storms is still to your west. But right now, this particular storm, not a serious threat to the Chickasha area. And looks like we're going to zoom in a little bit closer on that storm here. And, again, we have some additional development. This is intensifying to southeast of Mount Scott, north and west of the Lawton area. It is lifting east-northeast toward Elgin, and that will impact the H.E. Bailey Turnpike, particularly north of Lawton. Kelly, got some information?
Yeah, Michael, just a couple little things we wanted to pass along real quickly that we're hearing on Highway 33. You were talking about that hail core just a few moments ago, and this is just a shade east of Langston right now. Heard emergency management up there talking about blocking off 33 because they're afraid of people driving into that hail. So anywhere on 33, if you know anyone who typically travels that route between Langston, Highway 177, which feeds into Stillwater or over to Perkins, there's a hail core right there right now, and you don't want people driving into that.
Another area you'll want to avoid is around Highway 105, which runs just south of Langston. The emergency managers around that area have put out the warning that there are a lot of storm trackers, chasers, spotters on that road, so you'll definitely want to avoid that area just for the traffic's sake as well.
Absolutely. Michael and Gary, back to you guys.
All right, appreciate it. We also need to check in with David Payne, who's on the storm that's east of Guthrie, the storm you guys are talking about. It's still a nasty-looking storm. David, we can see your shot. Go ahead.
Can you see that storm down there?
Okay, we'll check in with Val Castor, who's on that storm. Val, go ahead.
Okay, Mike, we're sitting near southwest of Perkins right now on Highway 105, looking to the north and northwest. You know, this storm is slowly getting better organized. You know, it ate the other storm a little earlier a while ago, and it usually takes a little time for these things to go back to get stronger again. And right now, that's what's happening. Sure. And we're looking northwest at the area at the wall cloud. It's a developing wall cloud is what I would call it. It's starting to get lower to the ground all the time. It's not anywhere near as strong as it was southwest of Guthrie, but nonetheless, it is increasing. And anybody that lives southwest of Perkins, west-southwest of Perkins, all the way up to Perkins needs to be really watching this pretty close, Mike.
Okay, Val, appreciate it. I'll tell you, for some areas across western Oklahoma, you guys are probably sitting there going, okay, what can we expect? Well, right now, the boundary, all of the storms are forming really along a boundary that runs across northern Oklahoma near Red Rock and Perry, and then back to the west near Mulhall. But once you get west of that area, for instance, if you live in the Enid area, there's no risk of a storm right now. The air is too dry, and the moisture has been scoured out just above the surface, so you're not going to see any storms unless the boundary backs up. We don't see that happening until late tonight into tomorrow. So for this afternoon, the main threat areas are areas where it's already storming and to the east. So that would include the Mulhall area. And what we might do, I'm going to step away for just a second and back Storm Shield out to give a broader view here for just a moment, because we can actually see that boundary quite well here on Storm Shield. So I'm gonna basically just walk down this line with you on who's at risk at the moment. So you take the area around Guthrie, run it back to near Kingfisher, and then go all the way back to near Weatherford. You see that green line right there? That is the boundary that these storms initially formed on. So that's what we call the dry line. It's the separation of very dry air to the west and moist air to the east. So we're watching the storms again anywhere east of that boundary. So Binger, we could potentially see more storms develop in your area, also back up toward El Reno, Piedmont, and the entire metro area is still east of that boundary. Notice we have a storm that's trying to develop east of Kingfisher. It's been struggling, and that may be due to the depth of the moisture in the atmosphere. These storms appear to be in the area where we have deeper moisture. So near Guthrie and back over south of Stillwater, the storm that was near Coyle continues with a tornado warning. You can see it right there. So a tornado warning continues on that storm as it lifts east-northeastward. It's going to pass, it looks like, a little south of Perkins and move over toward the Cushing area. And we might take a look at well, just waiting. I saw it go to black, so waiting to see where we were going there. Tornado warnings continue again on this particular storm right here, and there's the projection. We might get a new projection on that particular storm here in just a moment as it lifts up. Again, it looks like it may pass just south of Perkins and move over toward the Cushing area if we can. We might check in with David Payne, who's been up there on that storm. David, are you there?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael, we're here. And,
okay.
Again, we're on 105. We're about 6 west of 177. And, of course, 177 goes into Perkins here. So we're going to be about 12 miles southwest of Perkins. You can take our stream if you can see it there. And, again, the wall cloud it's definitely more organized compared to what it was the last 20, 25 minutes or so. And again, we're looking off to the north-northwest now. And that circulation is going to be just to our north here, just probably 2 or 3 miles. And again, it is getting better organized. The wall cloud becoming a little bit lower and now looking a little meaner, if you will. But no tornado on the ground. And at this point, there's no one area that is just completely localized where I'm like jumping up and down about it's going to produce a tornado any minute. Now, saying that, it doesn't take long for this thing to ramp up and we get ourselves in a world of hurt in a big hurry. But either way, right now, circulation, it is broad, it is turning, and the wall cloud continues to slowly intensify. Like it's going to be, just north of 105 and west of Highway 177. Michael, back to you.
Okay. Appreciate that, David. And, you know, one thing I have noticed here just recently, David, just so you're aware, in the mid to upper levels, the velocities continue now to increase, David, probably a little stronger than what I have seen to this point. We had some weak low-level rotation. Well, the mid-levels were also weak. Now I'm starting to see more intense mid-level rotation south and west of Perkins, more so than I've seen on this storm for its entire life cycle, even when it was all the way back over near Cashin and it went across the Guthrie area and we saw what it looked like it may spin up where it had the wall cloud, it was rotating violently. Well, one of the things that we look at is we look at different levels of radar that go all the way up into the atmosphere. And what I'm seeing is up above the ground, rotation is starting to intensify with this storm. So we'll have to see if that works down in the storm down closer to the ground as it works its way over into Lincoln County and also just south of Perkins. It's going to be close for you guys in Perkins. It'll be close, but right now it looks like it'll pass just south. But just stay aware. Listen, you're under a tornado warning in Perkins. It'd be a good idea to go ahead and take your tornado precautions right now if you haven't already, because this storm is going to pass very, very close to you and it's going to be moving over toward Cushing here a little later on. There's the area of rotation I mentioned. And Gary, if you want to take that up to like a level tilt 3 or tilt 4 perhaps, we can watch what happens here when we go up a little higher. See, you still have, now look in here. See how you got this pink? Look at that. See how it's brighter? That indicates that the precipitation is flowing stronger away from the radar site. So that tells me that the rotation is more intense east of Langston. And these are the things that I look at all the time behind the scenes, by the way, in terms of trying to determine whether a storm is going to produce a tornado or not. So this thing looks like it is getting more and more organized. Let's go to Val Castor, who's also on that storm. Val, do you see anything visually that indicates what I'm seeing on radar yet?
Everything you just said, I can confirm, Mike. I mean, I can't see obviously into the mid-levels of storm, but here at the surface, the wall cloud is growing. We're starting to see an area of rotation increasing with it just to our north-northwest here. Earlier as this thing was cycling and as it weakened, the base had risen with this storm. Now the base is starting to come back down like it was earlier. It's getting stronger, and looking at the projected path of this thing, it looks like to me that, right now I'm estimating maybe the rotation 2 or 3 miles straight north, kind of northwest of our location, ought to be moving very near, maybe just south of Perkins. What would you think, Mike?
Okay. And we are looking at the area. Again, it looks like the wind profiles may become more favorable for tornadoes as we move through the evening. Remember, the low-level jet normally increases as you go throughout the day. So a lot of times storms that are rotating now, even though they haven't been producing tornadoes, they can as we move through the afternoon. So again, watching this storm very closely. Let's go to Pathfinder. I just did an updated projection on that particular storm as well. And the hook echo continues to look significant in this area. Notice I have it moving directly up toward Cushing and Drumright into Payne County. It looks like at this point it will cross eventually into Payne County, maybe just south of the Perkins area. You guys in Perkins probably going to get some very large hail out of this storm as the core of the storm passes over you. So yeah, it looks like it's wrapping up. We might check it on Moar here in a minute also. Also, I want to mention before we go to Moar, the storms look like they are intensifying now back to the north and west of Guthrie and east of Crescent now as well. This storm is getting much stronger as well. Now on Storm Shield, let's look at the storm that's further to the south. And, we'll go to in just a moment. Here we go. Gary's going to move the radar down there for me. So it's severe right now. It does not have a tornado warning on it. But notice it has that cyclonic curvature where we've been seeing wall cloud occasionally south of Middleburg and west of Dibble. And this storm has been moving due east toward Cole, Goldsby, and the Noble area. Remember, it was back in the Chickasha area. It went almost directly over Chickasha, and now it's moving basically due east. It looks like at about 25 to 30 miles per hour closer to 25 based on the latest movement. But guys in Blanchard, get ready. It's going to be probably very, very large hail with that storm, I would imagine. Golf ball, maybe bigger. And now notice, look, starting to get a rotation marker. We haven't seen many of these, so that indicates, again, the mesocyclone may be intensifying. Now, the rotation is intensifying on this storm down to the south. So we don't have a tornado warning yet, but I would definitely encourage you to stay weather aware. Gary?
Does have a rotation with it. The
last couple of radar scans for sure, but visually it's changed as well. It's like it keeps trying to cycle, and then it kind of gets I don't know, where it's a little more disorganized, and then it tries to cycle up a little bit again. We're kind of right up in that hook area on radar, but it's really not very impressive right now. We see a lot of low level kind of rotations and tumblings in the scud, but there's no real well-defined rotation. It's more of just a lot of tumbling and kind of just chaotic rotation, Gary.
Okay, appreciate that report very much. And we're looking at that. I'm trying to find some streets that have some names on them. Well, it's that circulation is east of Highway 92, east of Highway 92. There's one just southwest of Oklahoma City, and it's east of 92, and it's moving toward Middleburg and Blanchard, and possibly Bridge Creek. I think Bridge Creek, you guys will be on the south edge, Newcastle area. If it continues, it'll move, like I said, Middleburg, Blanchard, Goldsby, Norman. Right now, it's just severe, but when you look at it, it does have some shear in it, some rotation in it, and it has to get to a certain speed before it actually produces a tornado and such, but it is there. This storm, once again, is one of those ones that's in the process of organizing. I'll move this other radar down there by it. The Perkins storm, once again, north. You guys continue tornado precautions there. And on Pathfinder, when I look at the Blanchard storm, it's, it doesn't look tornadic right now, but it does have the circulation and such. So on Storm Shield, I will, and actually that projection is pretty good there. But I'm just going to read off the towns, some of them. It's Middleburg. Right now, circulation is east of State Highway 92, and it is going to move north of Dibble. It's going to move over toward Middleburg and Blanchard and possibly Cole and Goldsby and later Norman. And just depending on its exact projection, right now it's east-northeast at 30 miles per hour. And you could have some quarter-size hail, some wind gusts to 60 and such. We have more storms back to southwest. Quick check on XL. And we can see on those Stecker, Apache, and west of Elgin, north of Medicine Park. Those are going to be moving somewhere between, let's call it east-northeast, about 25 miles per hour. How does this thing look to you here on speed and direction? That one right there, is it at east? It's an east almost, isn't it?
It's due east.
Yeah.
The warning is for golf balls in 70.
Okay. Maybe just a little south of due east. Okay. It's kind of a little bit of a right turn. It's very subtle, but...
Okay, the storm's down south, and you guys in southern Caddo County, northeastern Comanche County, and I'll move, yeah, you can see it on there. There it is. Those storms end up moving east at 25, 4 miles northeast of Medicine Park, and it looks like gusts to 70, and at least golf ball size hail. That's with the south storms. This storm here doesn't appear to be that bad at this particular time. It's one that's right here in Oklahoma, close to Oklahoma County. But as you can see, it's east of Chickasha as we look at Storm Shield, east of Chickasha, and it is west of Norman. It's going to affect parts of Newcastle and such. We'll move in. You can see just where.
Go to Storm Shield.
Storm Shield. Thank you. Let me erase some things there. So the circulation's back in here. Once again, it is not tight. Thank you. It is, though, organizing. So I can just tell you folks in the Blanchard area, north of Chickasha, northeast Chickasha, Blanchard, in toward Norman. You need to stay alert. This thing may produce some very large hail, some damaging winds. They said it's not organizing rapidly. What's your opinion on it, Mike?
I agree with that. Just taking a look at the storm up to the north, Gary, and the rotation continues to, it's picking up. We're probably closer now to a tornado than we've been all day with the storm that's up. It's going to pass very close to Perkins, very close to Perkins, and it's in the mid-levels. Okay? All right, so yeah, large damaging hail also with that storm. It is moving it to, again, the environment continues to be favorable for the possibility of tornadic development back in this area. Now, we're seeing some low-level rotation again developing back to the, well, to the west-southwest of Perkins, but if we look up a little higher, again, the rotation just continues to get stronger in the mid-levels, and it's going to pass again very close to Perkins. So you guys in Perkins, I would go ahead and stay in your shelter at this point. I know we haven't had a tornado with this storm yet, but don't take chances with it. We've had a lot of terrible things happen here recently. Don't take chances with these storms. This still has a tornado warning on it. It's going to be moving over toward the Kingfisher area across southern parts of Payne County. Notice the tip of the Hook Echo, if you look at this right here, is getting ready to cross from Lincoln County into Payne County very slowly. The storm is moving just barely north of due east. So you guys that are going to be moving over, living south and east of Perkins are going to be at risk right now along Jardo Road and back along 177 and east 140th. That's this particular area here on the south side of Perkins. But again, if you live in Perkins, I would definitely take your tornado precautions right now. This looks like a this storm means business. I hear somebody on the Getner.
Hey, Michael, hey, this is Payne here. Just south of Perkins, this thing's starting to wrap right now. This thing is the best this storm has looked for over an hour and a half now. And again, the circulation, I'm on 177 and just south of the river 3 miles. That puts me 5 miles south of Perkins. And this thing right now, Michael, the hook is swinging from left to right. Everything to my northeast, the feeder bands, the cigar cloud, this thing is wrapping up right now. And now I have the beginning of wrapping rain curtains coming around the mesocyclone. Take my stream, and you can see it here. Look at that picture. Wow, this thing is really, really spinning. And I see wrapping rain now coming on the backside. This thing is really, really intensifying. The wall cloud is maybe a half mile or less above the ground. It is really, really wrapping up right now. It's happening right now, Michael. This thing is spinning faster and faster and faster. My wind now picking up from the southeast. And, boy, this thing is really, really changing shape as it approaches Perkins from the southwest. Again, I'm on 177 looking for anything on the ground, and it is spinning faster and faster. Look at the wind here. Wow, look at the wind picking up. Michael, everything above me is flowing into this spot. This wall cloud has a bullseye on it, and the motion into this thing is really, really fast, and everything again rotating. Michael, back to you.
David, I'd like you to walk us through this for the people in Perkins. Listen, you're right there, so what would be good is if you could tell me how far south of Perkins you are and where you're looking exactly. So let's say somebody's sitting in Perkins right now and they're terrified a tornado's about to hit them. Let's walk them through this.
Well, again, here's the deal. We're going to be 5 miles south of Perkins, south of the river here, 5 miles south of town, and the wall cloud looks like it's going to go right over Perkins. I mean, it's going to come right over town. And the thing is, everything was flowing back to the southwest into the wall cloud, and then everything just began to pivot and rotate very quickly to the east-northeast. Everything is wrapping around the center of where the tornado would be if it's going to happen here. But the motion, it is fast. Okay, I can see the water tower, which is going to be south of Perkins on 177. The circulation is going to be about 1 mile or less to the west-northwest of that is where the circulation is. The inflow notch is going to be crossing now 177, looking off to the west. And here it comes. Circulation now, again, about a half mile west of 177, rapidly rotating. Very impressive rotation now west of 177. Looks like it's going to pass just south of town. Not by very far, though. Hang on here. Looking for anything hanging out. Boy, the motion here. Hang on, guys. Everybody keep their eyes peeled.
It looks like the wall cloud is just hugging the ground. I mean, this thing looks...
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah, no, you're right. Hang on. Here it comes right here. Here's the spin. All right, all right, here we go. Circulation is going to be... I'm at the water tower. Here we go, guys.
I see it.
Right here. All right, circulation. Look on the ground. Look on the ground.
Hey, I think David?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Val.
listen. It looks like...
Two areas of circulation, one crossing 77, but the stronger area now is going to be just north, or on top of it. It's going to be real close to being in the city of Perkins. It's real close. It's real ragged. It's a real ragged tornado, very, very ragged, but it is on the ground. It's up and down on the ground. Guys, back to you.
Okay, Val, what do you have?
Yeah, Gary, we are right now. We're 1 mile south of the river. It was 1 mile north of us. I want to say that tornado maybe a half north of the river on the very south edge of Perkins. It wasn't a very strong tornado. Just a pretty good right now.
Let's go to David because his audio is messed up. David, you want to come back?
Yeah, Gary, again, like, if you can hear me, that's what Val said. And again, it's just going to be on the north side of Perkins. It's a real ragged. There's condensate coming out of the trees. Very, very ragged, loose tornado. If you know what I'm talking about here, just very ragged. But it was condensation coming out of the trees. I'm 2 miles south of Perkins now with a west wind going to 40 miles per hour. Circulation now crossing 177. And either it's over Perkins or just to the northeast of Perkins, but not by much, Gary. Not by much at all. Hey, I'm getting a better view. I'm coming into the valley here, crossing the river, south of Perkins, half mile here. As we come into town, I'll be able to take a closer look at it.
So moving east at 30, you know, the Lincoln County line is just south there. So it's north of right along the county line, leading into Payne County, along 140th Street. Once again, this is in the Perkins area. Perkins is south of Stillwater. So it's passing over Perkins. It's along Highway 116. I see the Hidden Shopping Plaza Center in the path of this particular storm. Go ahead.
Hey, Gary.
Go ahead.
Yes, we have another funnel forming southeast of Perkins. It's going to be about 1.5 miles straight southeast. Gary, right here. Moment, it's another kind of cone-shaped funnel, almost halfway to the ground. It's going to be about 1 mile or so southeast of Perkins. It's going to be right over the river, pretty much right over the river, Gary.
Okay, and the presentation, you guys look at it on MOAR, it's a major circulation, and all the radars is a major circulation. Could put down a major tornado at any time. In the Perkins area, it's moving a little east of Perkins now, it looks like. But it looks, let me do this right here, 122nd Street. By the way, Ripley, you guys can be real close, 322. Cushing, 339. Drumright, 401. And Shamrock, 401. And looks like Cushing, this is a 60-minute presentation, Mike?
That is, let me look. That is a 60-minute presentation.
Okay, so in about 35 minutes, it's in Cushing. It's 339, that's about right, 339. Yep. Major circulation with it. It's beginning to wrap up. And you can go, let's go. David, what do you have?
Gary, well, I just rolled through, just coming up to Perkins here, coming up to 177. Going to head eastbound here. Extremely low wall cloud. I'm looking back to my east. It's circulation now. The good news for Perkins, it's east of town, okay? Perkins is out of it. It's going to be east-southeast of town, about 1.5 miles. So Perkins is going to be, Perkins proper right now is in the clear, okay? It's going to be east. It's right just north of the river, in between the river and Highway 33. It's just east of Perkins, about 1 mile, and then about a half mile south. It's eventually going to cross 33, and as it marches east. But boy, look at the wall cloud here in our stream as we're coming on the backside. Look at the motion here, Gary. Boy, it is really turning.
It's high risk, people living east of the Perkins area, and that is along Highway 33, which is also east 116th Street, on the way over to Cushing. Anywhere along there, Ripley area points to a couple miles south, maybe 3 miles south of it. So from 3 miles south of 33 to about 3 miles north of it, that swath as you move east of Perkins, you should take your tornado precaution. You know anybody that lives there, call them and let them know this is going on, coming their way. And that's tweet them, Facebook them, call them on the telephone, whatever you can do. Just let them know this thing is up there. It looks very impressive. The wind velocity's very, very impressive at the present time.
It's lifting a little bit just to the north, east-northeast, so Ripley, this could take Ripley head-on, possibly. I mean, it's going to be real close.
You guys, Ripley, be careful. So over anywhere along 2 miles south of 33, all the way north to Ripley. Ripley, you guys that live in and around the vicinity of Ripley, take immediate tornado precautions. Right now it's moving a little bit. If we say it's moving east, it's moving a little north of east. It's moving east toward the east-northeast, just right along Highway, it's 18, and also Highway 33, which is also East 16th Street, or just 16th Street, 116th Street through Perkins. So the major circulation in there, this thing is cycled several times now. Is up producing a significant wall cloud, significant rotation. And let's see who we got there. Okay, go ahead, David.
All right, again, Gary, now we're just east of Perkins, 3 miles. And what is that? It's like there's condensation just barely coming out of the trees. Almost looks like a scud bomb, but it's not. I don't see the tornado, but I tell you what, it's not far from doing it, Gary. The rapid rotation just off the ground.
Hey, David.
Go ahead, Val.
The condensation you're seeing is not a tornado. You're right. It's not a tornado, but it is condensation actually coming up from the ground on the north side of the wall cloud.
Right.
The rotation is just to the southwest of that, just barely southwest.
You're going through where right now?
We are 3 miles east of Perkins on Highway 33. Gary, the rotation is directly south of us. Directly south.
I tell you what,
about
now,
a mile.
Val and David, you guys play this thing out, bounce back and forth. Don't run over each other. Just talk us all through this and the people in the path of it.
Go ahead, Val.
Go ahead, David.
Well, again, like Val said, it's just south of 33 now. We're east of Perkins, about 3.5 miles here. Just a big area here in rotation, looking for anything on the ground. Again, I don't see anything, but the circulation is very impressive. Wall cloud just a few hundred feet above the ground. And as we travel along 33, we're just looking for any debris at all. And the circulation just to my south there, and I do not see anything on the ground. But boy, Gary, this thing is really spinning, really spinning. I'm just a little bit ahead of Val. Val's right behind me. Val, you have a little more. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. The inflow is incredible coming into this thing from the north. We've got clouds just streaming from north to south right into the wall cloud here, but there's nothing on the ground that we can see at the moment. It's still rotating strongly in the clouds, Gary, but right now there's nothing on the ground. And as a matter of fact, the rotation is right over pretty much the river area where nobody really lives. So that's a good thing right there, Gary.
Okay, you and David keep talking through this thing, just changing off, talking us through it, okay?
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just a little farther east. I'm another mile east. I'm going to stop and turn around here and try to give you a pretty good shot of this thing here. Let me, the circulation, like Val said, it's just south of 33. Not very far at all, but no tornado on the ground. We've had that one spin up just north of town, but wow, hang on a second. Let me look back here. Now look at the condensation right there. Look how low that is. Okay, Gary, might have another brief touchdown. Hang on a second here. Let me get a closer look. Might have another area of rotation, another spin up. Let me see again. Okay, Dave. Yeah.
Okay, we're looking directly south at it. I think you're about a mile east of us.
Look right there.
Yes, I see what you're talking about. It looks like it's trying to be a funnel form right in the strongest area of rotation in this storm, right over the river, directly south. Now, there's also less than half a mile north of the river right there. And it looks like it's trying to lift. Very, very weak tornado, but just a small debris cloud, but it looks like it's trying to lift at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's right. I think it's lifted. The debris cloud was just going. It looked like an open area, but it was definitely there. Not very big at all. And again, it's very ragged. It's just a lot of. It looks just like looks like fog coming off the ground, and just these long stretched out streams of clouds lifting up into it.
Hey, David,
another one. Is that another one over there?
David, there's still debris on the ground, David. We see it. It's just barely south of you right there. Still a little bit of debris on the ground. It's probably, I'm going to estimate, a half to 3/4 of a mile south.
Yeah.
And there's another area of debris. You see that?
Yeah, to the southeast. I know.
Debris. There's 3 areas of debris. What's going on with this thing?
I don't know. It's out of control. I know that. Look at the spin going on, man. That thing is turning like a top.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an elongated wall cloud right there, and we've had 3 areas of debris just pop up underneath it. Not real strong, but strong enough to kick debris up.
Right. Oh, right here to your right. Look out your right window. Look how close it is to you. Right here. Look off 33. Look at the condensation coming up the ground right here.
Look over. Oh yeah.
It's right next to you. It should be right to your right.
Okay, I see it. There it is, right there on the ground. It's right down the road from us.
Yeah, it's right in front of you.
Stop. We're going to pull off the road here.
What's the relationship? Is it south of 33? What's the relationship to Ripley?
It's almost dear. It's to Ripley. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 miles, Gary, southwest of Ripley. 5 miles southwest of Ripley on 33. The circulation is now. The tornado is going to be just south of 33. Not very far at all. Not very far at all.
Right. And if you're going to reference this to Ripley, Gary, it's going to be about 3 miles southwest of Ripley, less than half a mile south of 33, Gary.
Yeah.
And I don't see the debris must have come up, but these things are coming down real quick, and there's no big visible funnel or anything like that. Now there's another area of rotation tightening up in the clouds, Gary, right now. Half a mile south. This is stronger.
Right here.
This is stronger, Gary.
Okay, we have.
Right here. Val, to your northeast. Check this out. To your northeast. Look at the motion. Wow.
The video, the streaming is delayed a little bit. Do we have guys? See if these guys are buffering. Val and David. I don't see any new video at all.
Guys, they don't see any video from us.
So, what am I looking on Sky News 9?
That is Sky News 6 there.
Put Sky News 6 on there, will you? So we know what we're looking at. Sky News 6 and his location right now. He'll be there right there very quickly on that. Val, David.
Yes.
What do you have?
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Val.
Go ahead, David. You go.
No. Go ahead. I'm trying to maneuver. You talk. Go ahead. Go.
Several areas of rotation with the storm. It's really unorganized, but we keep getting these little spin-ups. And it's going to be from about 2 miles south of Ripley, right on Highway 33.
Come to me. Give me that tornado warning. Is this it? Is that the new one? Okay, we'll be back to the storm. We're all pretty aware there's a tornado up not too far from Ripley and Cushing. We'll be back to that. And let me tell you, new tornado warning. This is the one that's moving in toward Norman and Newcastle and such. You got that on Storm Shield. We now have a tornado warning on this storm down toward Norman and Noble and Dibble. And let's take a look at that. Can we, you might want to read us the size of that thing. But there it is. It's moving east-northeast. As you look at the radar there, I'll tell you, it's the center just moments ago is 4 miles south of Middleburg, moving east at 20. And it looks like we'll just call that southwest McLean County, east central Grady County, and central Cleveland County.
Hank is on it.
Hank, what do you have? Hank, you have anything?
Gary, this storm has actually turned to the east-southeast storm. I'm on Highway 39. I'm 2 miles west of 76. So 3 miles west of Dibble is where the circulation is. So the circulation is just south of Highway 39, just about 3 miles west of Highway 76, which is Dibble. And what this storm has been doing is it really starts circulating and rotating, and then it kind of like trips on itself, like the The dust coming out of it kind of overpowers the inflow. And then right now, it's really started to crank up again. If you have our stream, we're just west.
Okay, there's another storm developing. Quick check on Pathfinder on one side of the screen there. A new storm developing west of Cashion, not tornadic, but it's going to be moving toward Cashion and Crescent and Guthrie. And there it is right there. Now, this storm northeast, we know we have tornadoes with that, small tornadoes touching down, huge circulation, a lot of vortices. Let me just tell you, we're going to have to bounce back and forth between Pathfinder and Storm Shield. And first on the north storm, the Ripley area, Highway 33, south of 33, all the way up to Ripley to Cushing. Cushing 339, Drumright 4, Walton 405. Take your tornado precautions out there. I couldn't hear if somebody was talking to me or not. Let's go to Storm Shield. Circulation here on Storm Shield. This is going to take in possibly parts of South Norman, if it lives, but based on the center line, we're going Dibble, 329 tornado warning, Cole 338 tornado warning, 351 Washington. Why don't you make that just a little smaller?
Okay.
Well, that's all right. Okay. Or maybe not fan it out so much. I think you can just bring the fan in a little bit. Washington 352, Goldsby 352, Noble 405. This may take in parts.
Rip a half mile. I'm going to be a half mile south of Ripley. Rapid rotation. No tornado on the ground, but the wind is really, really picking up here. Here, guys, it's going to come right over the car. It's going to come right over the car. Okay, look at the motion right here. Hang on, here it comes. Here we go, Gary. He's trying to localize. Look at the wind.
Go to Val's shot and keep talking. One of you guys, David.
Gary, tornado right here. There it is, tornado right there. There it is. There's
video.
The wind, guys.
Storm Action 1, go ahead, David. David,
okay,
I see a tornado there. We got both shots.
Okay, here's the tornado now. It's going to be just south of Ripley, maybe a little over a half mile south of town. Here's a tornado, guys. It's right to our west. Here it comes. Here it comes. It's not a very strong tornado, Gary. Here's a rotation right here. Right here. It's about 300 yards to my left. Here's the cone. Let's see. I don't see any debris yet. I see some spray, and I've seen a little bit of debris. Wow, it's right above us, right here. Look at that. There it is. Very, very, very weak tornado with a little bit of debris, not much. It's very, very weak. Circulation now crossing just south of Ripley. Probably about a half mile. It's going right over us right now.
Okay, we're looking also Val's shot. We see strong rotation. I see the tornado in David's shot. Val, big rotation. This thing could turn into a big tornado. There's a lot of vortices close to the ground. Val, are you there?
Yeah, Gary. Yeah, this was quite a bit stronger tornado than the earlier ones before. It's lifted at the moment. It's left behind pretty much a little bit of a debris cloud there. It touched down just to the west of Ripley, and now, Gary, the parent circulation is over Ripley and moving off to the east. So that tornado is lifted, but it could do another one at any time, and this thing is getting stronger by the minute, Gary.
No. That's Val's shot right there?
Yes.
Okay, Val's shot up near Ripley. Tornado test down west of Ripley.
Gary, we got another funnel.
Okay, go ahead.
We got another funnel, and this is going to be east of Ripley, about a mile southeast of Ripley. Boy, this thing is moving fast. About a mile southeast of Ripley, we got another funnel forming. I don't see any debris yet on the ground, but this thing is is really cranking. It looks like the other one did right before a tornado, Gary.
Okay, Dave, what do you have?
All right, again, Gary, we're now coming into Ripley here, like Val said, circulation behind me, one to our east. And I'm going to make a hard right turn and get right back and hit this thing. But I'm in the middle of trees right now, but it did produce a very weak tornado. We had just a little bit of debris that it came basically right over the car. It didn't last very long at all, but this thing has turned. And so far, these tornadoes have been small, but, you know, we're worried that they're obviously have the potential to become larger. I'm on the east side of Ripley now, headed off to the east. You can see the wall collider. Boy, it's really trying to localize. Look at the cone there hanging. Look at that. Look at the circulation right there, guys. Wow. Hey, I'm in the Ripley sits down in the valley here, Gary. Let me get out of here, get up top of the hill. I'll tell you exactly what's going on if there's anything on the ground. But right now, I see the center of rotation. It's getting its act together, but I don't see any debris on the ground at this point, Gary. Back to you.
Okay, as you guys keep an eye on that, we're looking at the storm with a tornado warning on it.
Okay.
Blanchard, Middleburg area, moving toward Purcell. Let's call it Dibble. 333, Cole 342, Washington 355, Goldsby 355, Noble. And this is south of Norman. Noble 408, Purcell 412, Lexington 416. This storm is quite wound up. And we have people around it. No tornado on the ground at the moment. Tornado warning continues there with the storm. And once again, that is in the area. It should pass south of Norman and very close to Purcell and Noble and Goldsby. And Washington, Cole, and Dibble. And we have another storm back to the southwest. And let me just go down to this. Hope you guys just bear with me a moment here. Too many buttons. There's a storm right there. Elgin, Sterling. That storm is rotating strongly. Probably will be a tornado warning on it before long, and that'll include Surreal, Elgin, Sterling, Rush Springs, possibly Ninnekah, and anybody that lives south of Ninnekah and also in the Rush Springs area. Other storms west of Chickasha will have to bear watching for the next few hours. But this storm right here, as we're looking very close at it, Big Hook, lower left, Big Hook. There's Dibble. And there's 230th Street. We're down in the Dibble area, Washington area, 250th Street. State Highway 74 runs through Cole. Then there's Goldsby. It looks like it'll be south of the River Wind. It's south of Highway 9. And right now it looks like it's moving. The main target area would be Noble down to Slaughterville to possibly Purcell. So we got that one right there. That's a major storm in that particular area. We'll go north. Tornado warning continues in the Ripley area and on to the east. I have Bobby Payne. Bobby, Storm Action 8. Bobby, what do you have?
Gary, right now I'm south of Ripley on, let me just pull up my highway here. I'm on Highway SR 18, Highway 18, south of Ripley, and I've got very strong rotation. Looks like I may have had just a real brief spin up, Gary. Got very strong rotation right now, right crossing, getting ready to cross. Yeah, I've got, looks like a little debris cloud down on the ground, Gary. It's going to be crossing Highway 18 here pretty soon. I'm going to try to move up just a little bit. I do have a little bit of debris now down, getting ready to cross just west of Highway 18.
Sky News 6. Can we talk to Sky News 6? We've got a tornado on the ground. Sky News 6. See a big rig right there. And he's on that storm up near Ripley, moving toward Cushing. Is there any way you can get pilot of storm Sky News 6? Well, that's the helicopter. The tornado's on the ground. Let me see. We'll put that up here on that map real quick. So you can see it's moving. The tornado's on the ground. And Sky News 6 is 1 mile south of Highway 33. And I'm not sure which direction he's pointing and looking. But if you can see that, maybe you can see a little better than I can. But we could see a tornado on the ground just mere moments ago, and that would have been right along the highway, it looks like, right along the Highway 33 that leads toward, who's this right here?
Cushing.
Leads right toward Cushing. So you guys in around Cushing continue the tornado precaution. There's a big cone right. That's what was above. Look at that huge cone. This is moving toward Cushing.
There it is.
You guys in the Cushing area, just look out. Take your tornado precautions right now. That's the area where probably the largest oil tank farms in the world exist.
There it is. Gary, tornado on the ground.
Okay, we see the debris.
There it is, Gary. Tornado on the ground just to my south. It's 100 yards south of me. Tornado on the ground. I'm going to be just south. I'm going to be 2 miles east of Ripley. There's a tornado right here, guys. See that right here. There it is. Debris in the air. Okay. Debris in the air. Listen to it. Look at the motion.
Okay, now, hey, guys. Now, we can see it on Sky News 6. And you just need to tell us where you're looking and where you think it is, because we don't have a communication with Sky News 6 at the moment. Go ahead.
Okay, Bell. I mean, Gary, I'm 2 miles east of Ripley, and this is the most violent tornado we've seen today out of this. Big cone right above me. Big cone right above me. Look at the debris. Hang on, look at the debris in the air. Holy moly.
Gary.
All right, it's cutting through a forest. Going behind some homes. Big cone hanging down. I'm 2 miles. It's exactly 2 miles east of Ripley. Look at the debris behind the house. Here goes the tornado. Right there.
Gary? Oh, Gary, can you hear me? This is Val.
Go ahead, go.
Okay, we got a power. I just saw a power flash, and the tornado.
Like I said, it's 2.5 miles east of Ripley, and they're still on the ground, Gary. It's been on the ground for about a minute and a half so far. It's moving basically due east on this road that goes east of Ripley here. It did some minor damage to a horse barn out here. We had a little bit of some sheet metal coming off of a horse barn. The cone is still hanging down, and again, it's just, Gary, I tell you what, it's moving almost due east now. And it's moving, it's moving pretty much due east. And let's see if it's still on the ground here. It looks like it might have. There's the cone. Oh no, there it is. There it is again, Gary. Okay, it's going to be 3 miles east of Ripley. Oh, look at that. There's a lot of debris in the air. A lot of debris in the air now. It just hit something that's obviously going to be something different than trees or forest. So tornado's still on the ground. The cone is basically going to be just 3 miles, almost 4 miles now, east of Ripley with a small debris cloud underneath it. There, it's still on the ground, Gary. I'm going to make a hard right. My road dead ends. I'm going to make a hard right and then get back south here. But, Gary, it looks like the tornado's still on the ground. It's a weak tornado, but nonetheless, tornado's still on the ground. Back to you.
Okay, Val, from your vantage point, is Cushing on the target?
Okay, Gary, it's about 3.5 east of Ripley now, probably about 3.5 to 4 miles west of Cushing. The funnel has lifted. It's not as pronounced. It's not a big cone like it was before. There is still probably a little bit of debris coming up off the ground at the moment, but it looks like to me it's weakened. It is headed, there is still debris. I still see debris with it. We are headed east, Gary. We're going to go into Cushing and go north and try to get and watch this thing for the people of Cushing here. But it's going to pass on the north side of Cushing. We're very near the north side of Cushing, Gary.
Okay, I will tell you there is some rotation west of you guys again in Perkins, so in Perkins, stay alert. And also just in the Coyle-Langston area and east, there's a bit of an interesting feature there. So all along the southern edge of that storm, it runs from Coyle and Langston. This is, by the way, northeast of Oklahoma City. It runs from Coyle and Langston over to Perkins to Ripley to Cushing. All through there, there's looks like several areas that might end up producing tornadoes. We're also watching the storm down to our south. So these guys are on the north storm. Now we're looking at the Blanchard storm moving. Looks like it's going to move along 230th Street, 250th Street. This would be, it's hard to tell down there whether that is a Dibble Street or a Goldsby Street or a Purcell Street or whatever it is. But it's going to take in,
I know, that's what I
continue with those tornado warnings south of Norman, go from just a hair south of Blanchard to Cole to Goldsby to Noble. These are all points south of Norman and south of Oklahoma City. And then from Dibble due east over toward Purcell. So you guys, you know, it's not moving very fast, about 20 miles per hour. And Sky News 9 is on it. We're also looking at Sky News 9, and we see a lowering. In fact, things calmed down a little bit, I think, maybe up at Perkins. Boy, look at that shot of Bobby's over on the right. I don't know where Bobby is, but...
he's on the Perkins storm.
Okay, he's on the Perkins storm. Let's check in Bob Mills, Sky News 9, and go ahead, Jim.
Oh, roger that. Yeah, Gary, we're sitting just south of 39. We're sitting about 5 miles to the east of Dibble, and you're looking at that wall cloud now. There is a definitely rotation in it. It gets ragged, and then it builds back up. We get a little bit of a lowering, but right now it's just in that cycle stage, Gary. Nothing significant, but I can tell you out in front of this, there is a tremendous amount of lightning and heavy rain. When I landed at Chickasha for fuel, it was a literal flood around Chickasha. That's how much water is falling out of the front of this storm as it passes and going towards Norman there. But again, right now, nothing significant, nothing on the ground, Gary. It's just in that cycle stage. And there is rotation, but nothing significant right now. We'll keep you updated. Jim Gardner reporting live from Bob Mills, Sky News 9. Back to you, Gary.
Okay, that report is for this storm here. Has a tornado warning on it, moving east at 20. And once again, let's mention the towns, just a hair south of downtown Blanchard, all the way down to Dibble, then east along State Highway 39, Highway 74B, and 230th Street, and 250th Street, and State Highway 74B again there. The Goldsby area, Noble, Purcell, moving across Interstate 35, I would think. Let me just move this thing over just a bit. It's to Interstate 35 in about 30 minutes. It's moving at 20, so the warning is south of Norman as it stands now. And if it moves northeast, Norman, you're in it. Right now, as it stands, it's primarily Goldsby and Noble, just south of Norman, on down to Purcell, to Cole, to Dibble. So that storm is, it's impressive to say the least. Now, let me click through this on, we'll go to Pathfinder. Okay, there's the storm again, a little different viewpoint, and a broader view. The center line is where we expect it to go. That red line through the middle of it, that's where we expect it to go. And so on the right, that's that storm. And then the north storm you're looking at on the left. And let me just, there's the north storm. Tornadoes touched down in several spots. I see some video coming in from David and Val, but I don't see too much. I still got Bobby over there. Bobby.
Now, very large wall cloud now just to the northwest side of Cushing. Back to you, Gary.
Okay, Bobby, I'm looking at you on GPS. Bobby's moving on the highway there, Main Street in Cushing. He said the huge wall cloud's just northwest, as well as the northwest parts of Cushing. So Cushing's still under the gun there, and you can see his video. You can take a quick look at Bobby's video. He's Storm Action 8, and you can see the huge wall cloud that is right in there over northwestern sections of Cushing.
I expect we're probably going to get a tornado warning on this one here before too long.
Okay.
Down near Elgin and Fletcher. So you guys down northeast of Lawton, be aware.
Yeah, be looking at this one up here near northeast of Cashion, too.
This one is in a little bit more shallow moisture. The deeper moisture is kind of on this arc where they originally formed. Not saying we don't have to watch it, but I just these storms have all been bigger.
Okay. What about, I'll take a look at Terracam just to our west and see how we're looking, make sure that nothing is going up. We're looking southwest, we're looking at the storm down southwest, take it to the west, then bring it around. There's some towers out there, come on around a little bit more. There we go, we'll watch that, that's good, thank you. That was Terracam coming around there, I don't know if you can see it or not. We're looking to the northwest of Oklahoma City, so we could have more storms there. I'm also looking at this Sky News 9 down south, Bob Mills Sky News 9, and I'm also looking at Sky News 6, which is up near Perkins. And I would tell you that we have... I hear someone yelling?
No.
Okay. North storm on Pathfinder. It's moved over very close, just approaching parts of Cushing once again. So from the Cushing area on the east, northeast, and east toward Oilton and Drum Right. With little luck, it'll go north of Drum Right, but don't trust them. There's a little bit of shear circulations in the Perkins area, maybe a little east of Perkins. And you guys in Drum Right, also along Highway 33, Drum Right, south of Yale, on over into Creek County, stay alert to possibility of a tornado. And the storms are back, gosh, just a second here. I'm looking at more right here. Here's the back edge of this stuff, right there. Would you do me a favor? I need Tom Morgan, right? Somebody can verify this. Okay? All right. This storm is near Ripley. Moving on east of Ripley, about 20 miles per hour. And let's see, what do we have on XL?
Right now, Gary, there's 2 tornado warning storms. We have the one that's up near the Ripley area. We also have the one that's down south. That's going to, when I say down south, I'm talking about the area just south of Norman, and that's going to be the area that's moving in over toward Washington and over toward the Purcell area. That is just an incredible shot right now from up in the Cushing area. I mean, it is just, now that one, I believe, is the south storm, if I am correct. So let's make sure when we label those we're right, because I think we switched to the south storm when we went to Sky News 9. And we're watching the storm that's near Dibble.
However long, KOMA Radio 92.5, KOMA, KRXO 107.7, KMGL, and Jake FM, and KOKC AM 1520. And we've been on that for all these for quite some time here in the metro. So tornado warnings continue. You're right. Driving south of Norman on Interstate 35 is not good. I would stop in Moore or North Norman and let this thing go by. It's moving at about, what did you say, Lacey, down to 15 now? It's down to 15 miles an hour.
The main circulation is 2 miles southeast of Dibble. Okay. The threat is along Highway 39.
Okay, that's where it continues to be. Let's check Moar, guys. And you can see this long, lazy finger sticking out of the back of it there. That's an indication of the circulation and a potential tornado developing. And it's moving directly toward Washington. You see we have Hank there. We have Tom and Rob. Sky News 9 is right down there. And on their shot, they're not showing that much at the moment. But it continues the tornado warning. And once again, this covers Goolsby, parts of Noble, Slaughterville, Purcell, and right along the highway onto these.
On Sky News 6.
Go to Sky News 6. Power line flashes. Tornadoes on the ground again. Looks like. That's not well. And that could be an airport. You think?
Is it?
Yeah, that's a tower.
That's a tower of some kind. But this is as you look at Sky News 6. That's near Cushing, little north Cushing. Huge cone.
Gary, you want to look at velocities real quick on the Cushing, just so you can.
Okay, it's fairly.
Once north, well north of Cushing, lifting up toward Yale, and then there's another area of rotation west of Cushing. I don't think this has a tornado at this particular time, but that's...
Okay, so one circulation north of Cushing moving up toward you guys in Yale. So in Yale, go ahead and continue the tornado precautions.
Right.
And there's another circulation southeast of Ripley moving toward Cushing from the west again. And we also have another little rotation there near Perkins. So all along that big supercell, there's all kinds of rotations going on. So, you know, if you live in Payne County, southern and eastern Payne County, take your tornado precaution. It's just that simple. You know, you need to get below ground if you can. We're watching that huge wall cloud on Sky News 9. Huge wall clouds. Kind of, you can see the oil tanks. Probably the largest in the world, one of the largest in the world. All the oil flows through here. Fortunately, that big storm looks like it's going north of that location.
Sky News 6 in the box instead of Sky News 9.
Big rotation. There it is. Big lowering. I don't see it flashing. You know, that might have been power flashes north of there. But once again, this is north of Cushing, and it should be moving to the northeast. That one may well be moving up toward you guys in moving radar up there to that one of these. Here, I'll just move this. Too many mice. Too many mice. Okay. Okay. Moving up toward Yale. So it's north. Look like the circulation he's looking at right there is north of Cushing, moving up toward Yale. Then once again, we're looking at some shear and rotation back to the west, and it's pretty strong. It's south of Ripley, a little bit, right along 33 again, is west of Cushing. So you guys in Cushing may have to deal with it. And there's another lesser. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Hank.
Gary, can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, we hear you guys. You don't need to ask us if we hear you.
East of Dibble, there's a large funnel that's 3/4 of the way to the ground. It started out as like a horizontal tube. Now it's turned upright. There's a large funnel. It's I'm trying to see if it's on the ground. It's probably a tornado on the ground, just northeast of Dibble. It's going to be, I'm probably 2 miles east of Dibble, looking back to the north, maybe a mile or two. So just northeast of Dibble, I believe there's a tornado on the ground. I know that the funnel is at least 3/4 of the way to the ground. I'm obscured by trees right now. I'm turning on Meridian Avenue now, for you folks to know this area, off of Highway 39, and it's going to be right on Meridian Avenue, just north of Highway 39, so just northeast of Dibble at this time, Gary.
I see on Storm Action 6. Storm Action 6.
They're refreshing it.
Oh, they're refreshing it? Okay. They're refreshing it in just a moment on Hank's shot.
Do I have a heat stroke?
And we still see you're looking at a big circulation there that is north of Cushing. Cushing is northeast of Oklahoma City. And on the right, you're looking at our south storm, and apparently have a funnel cloud. They have a strong circulation with it. The features, it's kind of small at the moment, which is good. And then I see Sky News 9 down. Let's check in with with Jim Gardner. Bob Mills, Sky News 9. Go ahead.
Well, Gary, right now we're sitting just south of 39. We're about 7 miles east of Dibble, just along looking back to the west. Now we're east of Dibble, so we're looking back to the west and the north. Now there is it's pretty ragged. We haven't seen anything on the ground yet, but it's possible we might have had a spin up there if we just didn't catch it. But you can see the very low cloud there, and like I said, it's all pretty ragged right now. We really haven't seen anything from our vantage point, but Hank is on the ground. He's right there close. Now there may be something right underneath that, and that put it almost left center there. There is a little tag of something, but I can't tell if it's on the ground or not, Gary. Hank's got a better vantage point of that, but right now this wall cloud looks pretty ragged, but it is rotating. There is a lot of rotation. Tremendous amount of rain falling in front of this thing and lightning. It's just incredible how much water is coming out of this thing. But again, like I said, I'm just over the 39 now, shooting back to the west, northwest. It looks like it's going to be just north of 39 where that one cloud is. But we haven't seen any evidence of anything on the ground yet, Gary. But like I said, we could have missed it just for a brief moment.
Okay. As we look at your shot, I'm looking at the radar there, and that will be Storm Shield radar. And let me just erase these towns on here very quickly for you. And we'll put some new ones on. We indicate a rotation. What in the world happened there? Okay. We may have a little electronic problem here, boys. Got it. Okay, we're going to go back down here to this storm. There's the storm from Nennecaw down to Rush Springs. That one has strong circulation west of you guys in Rush Springs, so stay alert down there. This has a tornado warning on it, and it's moving east very slowly, 15 miles per hour. And let's just see, it's going to pass as the way it's going right now. It'll be a little hair south of downtown Noble. Let's call it maybe a mile south downtown Noble, and then due east, right along the highway down there. So it's just going to run directly toward Purcell and toward Noble and Interstate 35. So the warning, for the 1 hour warning, you can see that red line across there. That's the 1 hour from when it was issued. So it's going to be, looks like maybe it's still maybe 20 minutes away from Interstate 35. But if I'm on Interstate 35 headed south, I would stop in Norman area, stop in Oklahoma City and wait till Snake passes. If you're coming on Interstate 35 from the south toward Purcell and Norman, don't drive out in front of this thing, all right? So you can stop anywhere along Interstate 35 before you get to Purcell and let this thing pass by. So tornado warning continues on this particular storm. It does have, fairly strong rotation. It's a fairly small feature, the feature we're looking at least. And let's see what we got here. Is someone talking to me?
Nope.
260th Street. There's Highway 39. So the base of the rotation is the vicinity of Highway 39, just west-northwest of Purcell.
Hank shot, Gary. You can
Okay.
see a little bit of a lowering.
And Hank shot. Okay. There's Hank. Tell us what you're seeing. Storm Action 6.
Gary, it looks like this area of circulation is not on the ground at the current time. We are, where are we at? We're north of 39 a couple of miles. We're east of Dibble 3 or 4 miles. We're looking back to our northwest. There's this large area that started out as kind of a horizontal vortice, and then it came all the way to the ground, or at least it came really close to the ground. I couldn't, there was trees in the way, so I didn't actually see dirt, but it was 3/4 the way to the ground. And right now, it looks like this circulation just kind of jumped north a little bit. It was pretty close to Highway 39, and now it's several miles north of 39. So it's going to be 4 or 5 miles, 6 miles maybe north of Highway 39, just to the west of, May Avenue? Just to the west of May Avenue. But it's not as well formed. It's not rotating like it was just a few moments ago, Gary.
Okay. Okay, well, they're going to drop, I believe, the tornado warning in a few minutes when it expires for Cleveland County. So with a little luck, that will continue, and that will go away. But I will tell you, the storm on back to the west, if I can jump in here. Do we have that on a quad, Mike? There it is. On Pathfinder?
Yes, Pathfinder.
Pathfinder. Okay. That storm has a stronger rotation than the one near Norman. The one near Norman is a little disorganized. It may be cycling. But once again, we're hearing that they will not reissue the tornado warning for the Goldsby, Noble, Purcell, South Norman area. So that's good news. A lot of people right down there watching it very carefully. You guys, Rush Springs, Sterling. It'd be Rush Springs 423. It's the circulation area is near Sterling right now. We call it east-northeast 25. Later, it'll be Alex and Lindsay. You're probably going to update that for me, aren't you? I am. I appreciate that very much. So we continue with the tornado warning up in Payne County, and that would be north of Cushing, and then there's some more rotations back to the west there. So any of you guys in southern Payne County, eastern Payne County, which is the county that Stillwater's in, but Stillwater is not at risk.
It's near Yale right now, the
Circulation is near Yale, which is northeastern Payne County. So continue the tornado precautions there. And let's see, we have this storm down in Rush Springs. Appears to be quite significant, but there are people around it. And is James down that way? Does anyone know?
Storm Action 2. Yes.
James,
Hi, Gary.
Go ahead, James.
Hi, Gary. Yeah, I'm right now. I'm heading southeast on OK 19. I'm just about to approach the town of Alex. I'm heading down towards Erin Springs, which is going to be my next target location to watch this storm approaching from the west. It's very impressive on radar. It hasn't got a real big amount of rotation at the surface yet, but it's moving into a much more unstable atmosphere where the winds are starting to back southeast. So this storm could be quite a big one. It's got very, very large damaging hail in it. This southern storm definitely means business. People in Rush Springs will definitely need to take their precautions. There's no tornado yet, but this is a split thunderstorm in tornado conditions that produce one at any time. It's one of the strongest storms out there now, so people in Rush Springs definitely need to take their precautions and be weather wary right now.
Okay, James, appreciate that report. That's the storm near Rush Springs. No tornado warning, no tornado with it, just some strong shear, and James actually is near Alex. So we've got these storms to the north And we continue with a tornado warning on the storm north. This one right here is just going to be severe on this storm. It still has circulation. Let me tell you, this storm near Coyle and Purcell and Noble could easily intensify again, so don't be surprised if you live down that way, you suddenly hear another tornado warning. So we're going to jump north. Yeah, Mike?
While you're looking at that storm, I just wanted to mention this. This circulation comes up to the northeast. Now, this one may take over, and it's coming right down 33 into the Cushing area over toward Drumright.
Okay, you guys in Cushing along Highway 33, the Ripley area, there's another fairly strong circulation coming your way. And was that new or is that just a comfort?
Pawnee, and the location is near Oilton.
Oilton, that's the north one. That's near Creek. That's in Creek County. That particular warning. But I can tell you, there's some shear and rotation, all those things with this storm from Cushing back toward Ripley, and it's moving towards you guys in Cushing again. So just stay alert. That one circulation could be Cushing. Why is Cushing not showing up? I see Drumright 421.
That's a good question.
Oilton 424. I want to back him up just a hair. Now, Cushing is going to come over you or very close to you. That's the next storm. As we drop south.
There you go. Cushing's in there now.
Okay, we got Cushing in there. Thanks, Michael. Cushing 402. And we still have some rotation indicated to the south around Goldsby and Noble. And I think Hank was exactly right. This thing jumped north. The circulation weakened and it jumped north. And while we're looking at some of these things, I want to take a full screen of the Terracam. If we can punch up Terracam. And I think we should, yeah. We are looking straight north. So that's the storm that's going up. Pull up that way. I think that storm was going up near Okarche, moving toward Crescent. That's a fairly new storm. Oh, that's all right. Okay. And let's go up there. That storm is near Guthrie, northwest of Guthrie, the one you're looking at right there. Looks like a pretty hard updraft. There's no sign of any circulation this time west of Guthrie. It most likely is going to come very close to Crescent or over Crescent, then up toward Mulhall, and then once again toward Lake Carl Blackwell and maybe Stillwater later. So that's the storm you're looking at. We're looking at Storm Shield, guys, Storm Shield and that Terracam. So we can look at Terracam. Okay, you might want to zoom in there a bit, Mike, if you can. That's that storm right there. And near Crescent, that's, okay, there's a line of storms, flanking line of storms developing on that storm near Crescent. So that may become a threat from Crescent to Mulhall to Orlando to Lake Carl Blackwell and possibly even Stillwater a little bit later. It's not a threat at this moment, but that's where it is this particular point in time. So we have out there right now, see Val's out there, Allen's out there. Bobby Payne is looking, it looked like a big circulation. Bobby is on Storm Action 8. Bobby, what do you have?
Gary, right now I'm on the west side of Drumright, and I've got a very large lowering back off to the west. It's coming right down Highway 30. It looks like there's a lot of strong wind that's pushing from the northwest back to the southeast. And then it's wrapping up just to the west of Drumright. So, Gary, this area along Highway 30 west of Drumright is going to have to be watched very carefully. Back to you, Gary.
Nick moved that.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, somebody turned that thing off. Okay, a little bit of a telephone problem right in your ear will get your attention. So we can take a look at Pathfinder, and I'll show you. I'm going to try to show you. We have so many mice here. A lot of mice.
Gary, Marty is south of Crescent, and he's on the Getner.
Okay, he's south of Crescent on the storm. Stillwater, that storm is about to move out of your area. That one is, at least. And extends over to Ripley and Cushing. We just heard from Bobby or saw Bobby's a huge lowering. It may just be the front of the thunderstorm, but there is some rotation with it as it moves towards you guys in Cushing again. So keep that in mind. Okay, we're News 9 at 4. You're watching News 9 at 4 p.m. We're looking at this storm north of Crescent, and we have Marty Logan up that way. Marty, do we have Marty on video, audio? Go ahead, Marty.
We have him on audio.
Gary, I'm with you. We are headed north from Cimarron City towards Crescent. We're starting to get a little bit of an updraft on the west side of this storm. Al and I were just looking at it. We're moving north with it right now, and it's looking more impressive. We started at Kingfisher with it, kind of fell apart on us, re-intensifying now as it keeps moving to the east-northeast.
Okay, all right, so we can't see them all. I see down south, we were looking at the north storm there. We can look at, let's look at Moar for just a moment, please. And the storm was down there at Goolsby. It's pretty weird. It did take, now it's moving northeast. There's some interesting features, a little bit of circulation, nothing big and bad, but it's lifting up over Goolsby and Noble all along Interstate 35. Probably some good-sized hail, so don't drive into it. And it is good. Parts of this storm are building north toward Newcastle and South Norman. So I think we probably could see that on Tower Cam just a minute ago, where it was building up that way into the Norman area. And we're also looking to the north. Val, Kester, what's your location? What do you have? And David, what do you have? Okay. Up that way, where several small vortices touched down from that huge circulation. A little bit of a communications problem. Let's go to, is that Sky News 6 there?
Yes.
Sky News 6, and that's over with that Sky News 6 with the Perkins storm. It looks like a updraft region on the left, big wall cloud over on the right. And you guys, if you live in southern Payne County, eastern Payne County, just stay alert. You know, you could get a tornado. Apparently, it looked like to us several small vortices touched down. It looked like it was going to produce a very large tornado. Fortunately, it did not. As you look at that, I will just tell you, you guys from Newcastle over to Norman, down to Goolsby and Noble and Slaughterville and Purcell, there's a big storm in that area. There's a lot of lightning. There's a lot of noise, and I see it's building a little bit more to the northeast. Actually, there's one along west, the leading edge of this storm that's developing in the Moore area, and it's not a big storm, okay? Don't panic. But lightning's the main threat. It's along Indian Hills Road. Indian Hills Road is 1 mile south of Southeast 34th Street. It's also 1 mile south of Southwest 164th. The street numbers really get messy down there when you're doing Moore and Newcastle and Oklahoma City and Norman. It's difficult to figure out what's where. But the main part of this storm is along the river southeast of Newcastle, across Interstate 35. Let's walk down there a little bit. And a lot of interesting features, but nothing too exciting wind-wise on that, the way it looks. That one is back toward Marlow. It looks pretty tough down the southwest. We're watching this storm right here that you're looking at. So lightning, wind, rain, all that stuff. Norman area now, parts of Newcastle. It's, let's see, there's Main Street in Newcastle. So it's east of that, but then there's a new storm back near Blanchard, but it is not that significant, but, you know, they can change quickly. So Highway 62 in Blanchard, that storm is developing there. Then the Goolsby area, Noble area, south of Oklahoma City and south of Norman appear to be the strongest, but very heavy rain, kind of stormy indicated. This is in the Goolsby area, one of the heavier cores, and also near Noble. So we're watching that particular storm. I'm going to jump at it really quick like this, and all I have to do is zoom for you. Watching some other, yeah, Michael.
On the Rush Springs storms, we might take a look at Storm Shield for just a moment, Gary. I just wanted to put a ruler on there for Rush Springs. I did see some low-level rotation. That is located right now along State Highway 17, and that is about 4 miles east of Sterling. We're about 7 miles west-southwest of Rush Springs. So you guys in Rush Springs, stay alert, and Marlow, for the possibility of a tornado. Now listen, this has a severe thunderstorm warning on it, but it's one of the stronger low-level circulations I've seen today. It is pretty close to the same intensity in terms of rotation that what we saw earlier on the Cushing storm when it started producing tornadoes up there east of Ripley and Payne County. So this is an intensifying thunderstorm. This is just brand new coming out on the radar in terms of that circulation. So you guys that live down into southwestern parts of Grady County, be aware that the rotation is intensifying just south and west of Rush Springs. As a matter of fact, I'm going to move down on Pathfinder and I'm going to update the projection for that particular storm. It doesn't have a tornado warning yet, but I got to tell you, it's getting close on the velocities. And we have a very pronounced signature on Moar as well that's down in that area. In fact, I believe Sky News 9 is en route to that storm, so we'll have a view from here momentarily as Jim Gardner and Bob Mills Sky News 9 HD can cover a lot of ground in a big hurry. And so he'll have a view of that here very shortly as he comes around the backside of that storm. Again, it'll be lifting toward the Rush Springs area. In my opinion, I think that's the most intense storm in our viewing area at this point. I think the Rush Springs storm is the one to watch right now. And I will say that there are some other storms If we go to Storm Shield here, oh, I'm sorry, you guys showed Mar. That's great. Showing Jim coming around it. Sorry, didn't mean to cross you guys up there, but our directors are doing a great job. Everybody here on the team is doing a fantastic job today. We do have some other strong storms just north of Lawton and also back down south of the Walters area and west of Eureka. Those are not significant yet, but we're monitoring those. The storm that is near Purcell, near the Washington area, does have some rotation. Right now, it does not appear to be strong enough to produce a tornado, but that's something we're going to continue to monitor. I continue to look at other velocity products behind the scenes and look for rotation. I will tell you, in the mid-levels of that storm near Washington, it is starting to increase some. So for Hank Brown in that area, you guys be watching that storm close. As it gets over closer to Purcell, if that rotation gets deeper and extends down closer to the surface, that might become more of a threat to Slaughterville or Purcell. Even though they've dropped a tornado warning on it for right now, there is some rotation just to east of the Washington area that we will be monitoring very closely, again, especially as that crosses I-35. I-35, it's still a bad idea to be going north or south on I-35. If nothing else, you're going to drive through very large hail at this point, and that's located just southwest of Noble. So if you're in between the Riverwind Casino, if you're in between Highway 9 and Purcell, get ready to get your vehicle possibly destroyed by large hail. That's what you're going to get if you go south on I-35 right now out of Norman. Or if you come north out of Pauls Valley. If you're down in the Ardmore area or Pauls Valley and you're planning on going north on 35, you're going to run into a supercell thunderstorm that has extremely large hail and the possibility, perhaps if the rotation continues to intensify, of producing a tornado a little later on. Right now it doesn't look imminent, but it is something we're monitoring. You go back to the storm that's back near Rush Springs, this thing looks like an animal right now. Both in terms of hail production and some rotation. And I see the rotation intensifying even further on the storm near Rush Springs.
Matt, let me know what that is.
That probably is going to have a tornado here very shortly.
Okay, let me just jump in here and say we have a few severe thunderstorms around. Tornado warnings have been on the one up north, primarily the one down near Norman. That particular tornado warning is expired, but there's a system near Rush Springs capable of producing a tornado, but the winds just haven't been quite right yet. And back to our west, we still have a zone where more storms could form. And let's take a look on Tower Cam. We're looking due to the south, and that's that whole complex coming up over the Moore area, building into Norman, and it'll be spreading on to the northeast. And the movement on it right now looks like it has slowed a great deal. It's probably east-northeast or northeast about 10. So the thunderstorms are spreading into Norman, soon being more. Not tornadic there, but could organize. Conditions are somewhat favorable. Once again, we're in Oklahoma City looking due to the south. And let's go ahead and look at MOAR here, a real-time radar. And you can see what you were looking at. If you look right at Norman, that's what you were looking at. That's the leading edge of this building to the north and to the northeast. I see a little cell going up near Mustang. But in around the Norman area, no tornadoes. Back this way, Rush Springs, just keep in mind, strong circulation there. And then we're watching up to our north. And by the way, I'll say just out to our west, from Kingfisher on down west of Okarche. That's really a dry line or a zone where we may get more thunderstorms forming. And one that formed along it is this one to our north. And it is moving northeast, looks like, or east-northeast, about 25 miles per hour. And so you guys into Norman, and then that eventually that may make parts of South Moore.
He is east of Marlow.
Okay, he's east of Marlow, looking at that storm. Okay, let's go to Sky News 9, and Bob Mills. Sky News 9, go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, Gary, right now we're sitting over the little town of Bray over Highway 29, shooting back to the northwest on this storm that's tracking. And it's pretty impressive, Gary. Just a beautiful picture of from Bob Mills, Sky News 9. You can see the bluish-green tint up in the hole right there in the top of the clouds, which is indicative of a lot of hail coming out of this storm. I cannot believe the water that is falling out of this storm in the front of it and the amount of cloud-to-ground lightning that's hitting here. But then as we come back to the back of it, I mean, just a classic example of that rain-free base, and you see a wall cloud starting to form up right there. It's pretty ragged right now, but this storm is packing a big punch, Gary. So again, we're sitting here, nothing significant at this time, but we'll keep tracking and keep you updated. Jim Gardner reporting live from Bob Mills, Sky News 9. Back to you.
Okay, Jim, the rotation on Doppler radar is tightening up just northwest of Marlow. I guess Marlow will be to your right, I believe, Jim?
That's correct, Gary.
Okay. So a big wall cloud. Wall cloud is lowering the rain-free area there. You may get a tornado coming from it. We see a lot of motion, a lot of rotation inside the storm up above that feature right there. The rotation is getting stronger. So you may be getting ready to get a tornado. I would include Rush Springs. Looks like it's a little south of Rush Springs, northwest of Marlow. And its movement on it has been, it looks like it's slowed also. Is it east about east or east-southeast? About 15, 20.
It is very slow, and it is moving. Well, what's happened is it's moved east, but it's kind of redeveloped to the southeast a little bit. So the area, it looked like it's going to be near Rush Springs. Rush Springs getting just probably some giant hail right now. And
Go to Sky News 9.
The rotation is actually kind of redeveloped a little further to the south now, and the storm is built southward down toward Marlow.
It's moving southeast 20 now, Mike. So you might want to put a new projection on this thing right here, southeast at 20.
Okay.
As we watch this huge wall cloud, we had one earlier today, west of you guys in Chickasha near Anadarko, huge one. Fortunately, didn't produce a tornado, but it sure looked like it was. This one looks like it's continuing to develop. You know, it takes them a while to organize. They organize the wind field and the wind speed and direction and all of that. That's what's going on. On the right-hand side, if you look, you can see the motion into the storm, things being pulled into it. And sometimes the first thing you see is just be dust and debris or dirt and such on the ground. And Jim, anytime you see anything spatial or different, jump in there. And I see off to the right, that would be the Rush Springs area, probably getting extremely heavy rain and probably some very large hail in there at this particular time. So we're watching that. Say again?
Tennis ball size hail could be in Rush Springs.
Thanks, Matt. Up to tennis ball size hail. Let's go back to wall cloud, guys. And you're looking at Bob Mills, Sky News 9.
Yeah, Gary, right now I'm coming up, I can see Marlow. It's just north of Marlow right now. And I can tell you this thing is probably dropping some huge hail. I mean, the colors in it are just, and up high are just amazing. That blue-green color and stuff, and then come down to the wall cloud that's on the back side of this. Like I said, it just keeps trying to reorganize here, but it's a huge wall cloud. It's very low to the ground. It's probably about I'm about, say, 300 feet, 400 feet above the ground. It's probably about even with me right now, but again, it's just it's just getting this act together, Gary, and right behind it is clear skies. We have nothing coming up from behind, looks like, on this one to undercut it. So this could be turned into a very dangerous storm, and we're in a good position, and we'll just keep you updated, Gary. Nothing on the ground yet.
Okay, appreciate that. We'll continue watching your shot there. All right, let's take a look at XL, and Michael, go ahead.
Okay, on XL, let's take a look at this. This is a hail product, and it shows extremely large hail right now just south of Rush Springs, probably 3-inch diameter. It looks possible. That would be close to, around tennis ball to baseball size hail will be possible with this storm in Rush Springs, all the way south, down US 81 just north of Marlow. So again, like the statement I said earlier, if you're driving south down I-35 planning to have your car destroyed possibly from hail, well, that'll also be possible if you drive south on 81 from Rush Springs down toward Marlow. Do not drive through that storm. It has some significant rotation as well. And it's just an amazing shot on Bob Mills Sky News 9 HD as well. Jim, that thing it's just such a well-developed storm.
It is, Michael. It's just it's really impressive sitting out here, man, just looking at it. It is in a classic position. Like I said, in the front of this thing, you just cannot believe the lightning and the rain coming out of the front of it. Then you got that bluish green right there, man, and the hail. It goes all up through the top of this storm and stuff, which is very indicative of producing large hail. Just a beautiful shot there, but like I said, very dangerous to people on the ground if it's dropping tennis ball size hail out of it. But again, the wall cloud in the backside is getting very, very low. It's getting more organized. It's not quite as spread out as it was before. So I think it's just it's just in that cycle stage. It's still developing there, Michael. And so again, we're in a good position. We're just north of Lake Humphreys here, coming southeast of Marlow, probably about 3 miles, shooting back to the northwest, looking at this storm as it just slowly moves along. Jim Butter report live from Bob Mills, Sky News 9. Back to you.
Okay, we gave a report that a wall cloud is developing northwest of Purcell. And that would be the storm that's been wandering around. Looks like it's moving a little northeast right now. It looks like the circulation would be a little bit east of Washington, west of Slaughterville, northwest of Purcell. All of this is a little south of Noble and south of Norman. We can do a check on Pathfinder, and you'll see that little finger hanging down right in that area. And so there's a circulation in here. It's not too strong. It wasn't too strong, but at least from the National Weather Service reporting a developing wall cloud in that area northwest of Purcell. So you guys just be alert.
Hank is on the Gettner. He's
And
on
let's put Hank on there. Hank, go ahead.
Yeah, Gary, I am north, where am I at? I'm northeast of Washington, north of Purcell. I'm at about exit 98 on I-35, and we've had a huge wall cloud develop on this storm. It's, please take that map up. It's going to be still north of Purcell. Going to be very near, well, right where 74 and I-35 come together is where it's at. It's a real large wall cloud, Gary. It's probably the biggest it's been all day. The circulation is somewhat kind of disorganized with it. It appears that it really cycles up for a few minutes, and then it gets where it kind of gets disorganized, but the wall cloud itself is a monster. Well, there's really a lot of inflow picking up. Let me get out of traffic.
Where is it?
There's a lot of rising motion in it right now. If you can see my spot on lower, and it's really getting its act together. The wall cloud is really low to the ground. I'm going to back up and shoot a shot here. Maybe you can get a better look at it. But there's a lot of rising motion into it. There is some rotation into this. And the wall cloud is very, very low to the ground. I am going to be about 5 miles east of Washington. So I am just northwest.
I should have taken that turn off right back there.
Just northwest of where the highway, where I-30.
Okay. We are seeing some rotation develop on radar west of Slaughterville now, right over the river where Hank is at. So that's right on top of I-35 and maybe just east of I-35.
What kind of motion we get into this thing?
It's really circulating, guys. It is very close to producing a tornado. If you are
Look at that shot.
here south of
Nick,
Dover,
let's get Tom and Rob over.
is all the wider the wall cloud is, but it's really taking in a lot of air into it. It's really wrapping up, and it's got to be really close right there to Ladd Road and I-35. It's just to my northeast, just a mile or two.
Okay, if it's drifting east, looks like it to me, at least on radar, real-time radar, is about over Interstate 35 as far as where the circulation is. Does that agree with what you're seeing, Hank? Hank?
I'm sorry, yeah. Gary, it might be even just a bit east of I-35. I'm sorry about that. I was navigating. I am really close to I-35 now, and it's still off to my east just by a mile or two, so it's probably drifted.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Just past I-35.
Okay. I see a lot of houses in this area that is passing over. It's going to Slaughterville Road. Now, this is down in Noble and North Purcell. It's hard to tell where one ends and one begins. But Bryant Road looks like it's going to move east along Bryant Road and Duffy Road. Yeah, you can see it. So that's where it's going to move along, looks like to me. Let me put this other one on here. York Road. The hook echoes back there. You see where it says Hank? The main part of the circulation is right there. And by the way, as you watch that, we're also watching the storm for you guys down around Lindsay and such. That wall cloud is not as organized as it was down near Lindsay. It's cycling. But this one is a fairly low level, fairly tight, and does have a wall cloud. No tornado warning on it, but I just tell you what, they develop quickly, and you just need to be prepared. And once again, this is in the Noble area, and we'll say right now, south of Etowah Road, south of McGuire, south of Cemetery, south of Banner Road, and moving towards Slaughterville, and right along the Slaughterville Road, and Bryant Road, Duffy Road, York Road, and it's passing just a little east of Interstate 35 right now. Looks like it's passing, gosh. Yeah, so little,
it is east of I-35.
Yeah, it's east of I-35. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It is east of I-35, Gary. I am right next to I-35 now, and it's directly east of me. So it is on the east side of I-35. It's between exit 95 and 98, east of I-35. Right now, we still don't see a tornado on the ground, but we still do have a large rotation in the wall cloud, Gary.
That. Once again, what you're looking at is live video coming in. Storm tracker Hank Brown and Patty Brown. And Hank looks like, well, he's just a little ways from Duffy Road. He's right along State Highway 74, looking to the east. And the circulation passing to the east is not big, and it's not extremely intense, but it is there. And sometimes you'll have something like this, and you'll end up with a small twister in your front yard. So just be alert, because you don't have to have all those necessary conditions. We're continuing to look at Google Earth, and we see obviously lots of farms, lots of residences right along Duffy Road when it gets over there to Bryant, Slaughterville area, Banner Road, Cemetery. So once again, if you're going south on Interstate 35 out of Oklahoma City, I'd stop before you get down to Moore or Norman. If you're coming north on Interstate 35, I'd stop well before you get to the Purcell area. So which one is that? That's over in Creek County. So we've got a tornado warning over in Creek County, which is moving into the Tulsa area of responsibility, moving directly toward Tulsa. So Tulsa may be getting ready to have some really bad things over that way. We wish our sister station over there luck on this thing. So tornadic thunderstorm moving toward Tulsa right now, probably how far away? Two hours, 1 hour?
About an hour.
About an hour away from Tulsa. And I'm going to back off on this thing.
It's going to impact anybody traveling up the Turner Turnpike, though, into the Sapulpa area, maybe Bristow, even before it gets to Tulsa.
Okay. Let me get my view here.
And if it were to turn a little bit right, it might move down toward Kiefer as well, Gary, in that area. So, you know, you look back down further to the south, you look at Hank where he's at. He's got a good view of where this storm is at. Tom and Rob are tracking that storm as well as it moves over towards Slaughterville. It has some low-level rotation. It's not off the charts by any stretch, but it is there. And I'll tell you, looking at Sky News 9 HD, that's maybe one of the more well-developed wall clouds we've seen on that particular storm as well. Let's check in with Jim Gardner.
Well, that's right, Michael. We're sitting right over Clear Creek Lake right now, just southeast of Marlow there, shooting back to the northwest. Yeah, it's starting to reorganize again and form a pretty good wall cloud that is very low to the ground. Like I said, this whole thing is rotating, but nothing we've seen, nothing go to the ground yet, or any signs of a funnel or anything. But it's just in that organizing stage. But just a tremendous amount of cloud-to-ground lightning and rain and hail in front of this thing. It's just phenomenal. how much, if they get out of this thing, they're probably going to have flooding in certain areas and possibly a lot of hail damage if it's dropping the hail, I think it is, and stuff. But you can see the wall clouds starting to get a little bit smoother, starting to form up a little bit there, very low to the ground, but it just keeps cycling around. Nothing on the ground yet. Jim Gardner reporting live for Bob Mills, Sky News 9. Back to you.
Jim, that thing has turned right a little bit, too. It's going to pass real close to Bray, and we show it just to the northeast of Marlow, the most dangerous part of the storm. Can you show me Marlow in the shot, whoever your photographer is up there, and so we can see where Marlow is in relation to the wall cloud?
Yeah, if he goes back to the left, if Rich Griggle pans back to the left just a little bit, Marlow's right there. There's where Marlow is.
There's Marlow.
So so it's just northeast of Marlow then.
So it's just northeast of Marlow.
Well, that's good for Marlow.
Bray coming down here, so it's moving right for Bray there. So, like I said, I'm sitting right over on the north edge of Clear Creek Lake, back to the northwest here, and it's quite an impressive wall cloud on this storm. Just an impressive storm all around. But like I said, nothing on the ground yet, but people want to be very aware this could drop one at any time. Jim Gardner reporting live for Bob Mills, Sky News 9. Back to you, Michael.
Okay, Gary.
Okay, obviously we're looking at a classic wall cloud. That's just when you look at that, that's just a reflection of what's going on inside the thunderstorm, big rotation. As you look at that, I will tell you that the storm near where we had the wall cloud earlier, near Banner Road and up into central Oklahoma. James has a shot of what? Okay. So the storm is still there, not producing a tornado or anything like that, but it's in the southern Noble area. We call it southeast of Noble, moving along Etowah Road, McGuire Cemetery, Banner Road, Bryant, Duffy, and York. And no tornado, but definitely severe weather with that. And the storm has developed, and the Norman area continues to move northward. It is far north. The northern edge of that storm is West Indian Hills Road, so it's getting up into South Moore area. And that's the east-west road. Then out to the west, this must be Newcastle. It's approaching northwest 24th in Newcastle. So big-time storms in there. Yeah, you can see them. There's Newcastle. North. These are kind of building to the north and could cause us some problems. Now, I will mention that storm down southeast. Right now, based on what it's doing, it would stay a little bit to the northeast of Duncan and move down toward Velma, Alma, and maybe a little to the south of Bray. That's the way it looks right now. But a huge wall cloud, hardly talk now, a huge wall cloud with this storm. Now, I will tell you guys, in the Oklahoma City area, that we don't have any threatening storms, at least Oklahoma County, but there are storms just to our south, moving toward Moore and moving into Moore, and Newcastle and Norman. They're all around. There's a lot of lightning, a lot of thunders. There's no organized, strong circulations except the one we have down near Rush Springs and the ones we've been having up in Creek County, west of Tulsa. But there's storms, like I said, developing Newcastle, South Moore, big storms east of Lawton, north of Duncan, and big storms east of Noble. And then we have all the storms to the north, another storm moving toward Perry. I see another storm developing right very close to Cashion. Once again, Cashion just northwest of Oklahoma City. But at the moment, we don't have a major mesocyclone going on in our viewing area. The Creek County storm, which is to the east, does have a tornado warning on it. Right now, Oklahoma County's fine. But if you look at Storm Shield, you see that green area out to the west. That's a zone where more storms may form between now and sundown. So we'll have to watch that fairly carefully. But let's check in now once again. Let's go ahead and go to Sky News 9. Bob Mills, Sky News 9. Jim, go ahead.
Well, Gary, this storm is, it's kind of lining out again. The wall cloud is kind of falling apart. It's kind of lining out. But now we got another. It looks like another storm may have pulled up behind this one. As Rich goes to the left a little bit here, we got a new wall cloud forming right there. You see it? That's a storm that's behind this one. And that has formed very, very quickly, Gary. I don't know where that storm is on radar right now, but it looks to be west of Marlow. But that wall cloud came up really, really fast right there. And I think what happened is it slammed into this one up front here, and this wall cloud's kind of turned more into a small gust front, and then this in back has taken over. And, I mean, it's just really formed up here, man, in just the past few minutes. And you can see it, the rise in it right there, right in the middle. You can see everything going up into it. So, again, we're kind of moving a little bit, going back down over Lake Humphreys and shooting back that and keeping an eye on this one to the east of it. But we may have another significant little wall cloud back here in the back, Gary.
All right, appreciate that very much. We got Storm Tracker James Menzie down that way, too. Might leave the helicopter shot up and go to James Menzie. James, go ahead.
Hi, Gary. I am actually just approaching the town of Marlow from the south, and I'm off to my right here. There is a very, very, very large wall cloud, very angry-looking wall cloud. There's one or two areas of very, very strong motion going on. This storm definitely means business, Gary. It could produce a tornado at any time, I think. On radar, the velocities aren't extremely strong, but, these conditions do warrant, attention from anyone in the Marlow area. But I'm on it now, and I'm about to get south on Highway 80, Highway 81. I'm about to move south out of Marlow. But I'm moving west right now on Highway 29 into Marlow, and just east of Marlow, there is the broad area of circulation.
Okay, appreciate that report down around Rush Springs and Marlow. We're on it, no tornado yet. And now there's new storms developing just northwest of Oklahoma City. They're going to go to Logan County. I see another one near Okarche. Quick look on Moar. You'll see the radar presentation. And the ones that are up near Kingfisher and Cashion have a little bit of a twist to them, so they kind of go up with a little bit of rotation. Take a look now at Tarakam, and that's the storm. That's the line of storms going up. Whether they'll become severe and produce tornadoes, don't know, but they have very interesting early configuration. So we're at Wilshire and Kelly looking northwest. These storms are northwest of Oklahoma City. These up to the northwest will not affect Oklahoma City, but I got to tell you guys in Logan County and such, we'll have to watch them very carefully. And let's see, they'll probably merge, but these are going to be moving toward Crescent, Cimarron City, Cedar Valley, Cashion, and probably Guthrie a little bit later. So you guys in the Guthrie area, stay alert. And all along those golf courses west of Guthrie, stay alert. These storms going up rapidly, and they're in a zone where we're probably at least going to have hail and high winds and could have tornadoes with it, too. Tornado watch continues in effect until 10 p.m. Just a quick check on weather computer. And the green area indicates the tornado watch in effect till 10, and it does include the metropolitan area.
Jim.
And Jim, we got to go to Jim. You want me to go to Jim?
Or James, either one.
Jim or James, go ahead. Go ahead, Jim. Sky News 9.
That, Gary, I'm not sure. You can see it right there, kind of spun up. I don't think it's to the ground yet, but it's probably about the ugliest wall cloud we've seen all day right here on this storm. I mean, just a tremendous amount of energy in it. Cloud-to-ground lightning, hail, rain, and then this wall cloud hanging out the back side here. We saw just a minute there, just kind of spin up right in the center of your screen. It's kind of went away now. Weren't sure exactly what that was, but a very impressive wall cloud right here. And like I said, I'm just coming over. I'm on the north side of Clear Creek Lake, pretty much shooting almost straight back to the north, maybe a little northwest of this wall cloud, and just paralleling it here. But again, nothing significant. Didn't see anything on the ground, but just a very ugly wall cloud, Gary.
Well, that's an impressive wall cloud. That means an impressive circulation inside the thunderstorm. And let's go to Moar. And these storms intensifying rapidly west of Cimarron City. This is northeast of Oklahoma City. By the way, the velocity signature down in that storm down in northeast of Duncan, the one the helicopter's on, is very, very strong. So don't be surprised if you get a tornado out of that. But I will tell you, we're looking just northwest of Oklahoma City, X number of miles. And those storms intensifying quite rapidly, as is another one near Okarche. And they'll be moving toward Crescent and Cimarron City and Cedar Valley and pass along.
Coming out with the
John Deere.
Much over my head right now.
Go ahead. Hey, go ahead.
Tornado warning coming for the Rush Springs storm.
Okay.
It's just east of Marlow.
Right,
okay.
Yeah.
It's going back off where we can see something there. Give me a projection on. So now we'll have official warning down south. Let's go to Pathfinder, and if you can go to regular radar, back off a little bit. The projection. Interesting to see what the movement on.
East at 20.
They're doing east at 20 with it, and Bob Mills Sky News 9 is right there, very close.
Right there.
James is right there. I think we need to pull back on this so we get a better perspective on what we're looking at there. So, James, we've lost audio, video from Sky News 9. Can you tell me what you have and what your location is?
My location is I'm sitting between Bray and Marlow out here on Highway 29, which runs east out of Marlow. I've got a very, very, very violently rotating wall cloud in front of me just north of Highway 29 between Bray and Marlow. right now it looks like it's really trying to organize. There could be a tornado here very, very soon, Gary.
Okay, you, the person in the field, you talk to us.
Yeah, at the moment, it's really ramping up at the moment. It's still a little disorganized, but there's definitely two main areas of circulation right in front of me. And it looks like there's actually a new area that's circulation that's trying to form just a little bit further north of my position. There's a large area of rain coming towards me, so I'm probably going to lose a bit of visual here shortly, Gary. But I'm going to probably shoot a bit further east here in a second and try and keep up with this thing. But, as you can see on my stream now, if you can actually see my stream, you can see that right in front of me. There's a rain core on the left that's coming to wrap round. And right there in the center of the camera, you can actually see the circulation just above the trees in the field there. So, but there's no tornado yet. But obviously, this is, prime for tornadoes right now. This storm is rapidly organizing.
Okay, Bob Mills, Sky News 9, Jim Gardner. We're looking at your video from Wall Cloud. By the way, this is southwest of Oklahoma City, 100 miles or so. It's 80 miles, whatever it is, southwest, southwest, almost due south. Looks like a pretty rapid rotation, a lot of movement. Jim, what do you have?
Yeah, Gary, now I'm just south of Highway 29, east of Clear Creek Lake here, shooting back to the northwest, and it's getting kind of ragged now, but man, it is low to the ground. But look at all the lightning. You can just see all the lightning snapping and stuff in front of this storm. It's just, and all the rain. That is just a huge rain core, Gary. And you can see as we come back to the wall cloud, we're starting to get another rain shaft behind this that is starting to kind of wrap around. But again, it's kind of falling apart. It wasn't as good as it was a minute ago, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, this thing is, there's a huge lightning strike right there. It could just come together at any moment here. I mean, it was really fast when it did the last one and drop a tornado. I would estimate it's only maybe 100 feet above the ground, Gary, right now, where the lowest part of the cloud is. And so nothing on the ground yet, but, we're not ruling out that this thing could drop a tornado at any time.
Appreciate that very much. Jim Gardner's, Bob Mills, Sky News 9. We just see a huge wall cloud, a lot of lowering in there. And, you get within 100 feet of the ground, it's pretty likely it's going to do something. Now, we had some almost that low today, and we did not, but we'll continue with a tornado warning. And this will be southern section of Grady County, northeastern Stevens. It'll go into western Garvin. Now, in 1 hour, it would be west of you guys now, Moore City. The only town we can find on the maps is Bray 444. So it should be east of Marlow as it looks. Another big storm developing out northwest you guys in Marlow. There's also one developing over the Duncan area. Well, I tell you, that almost looks like a long rotating tube up there. I guess it isn't. What about this on the left part of your screen there, Jim, and Bob Mills, Sky News 9? It looks like a wall cloud right there. What's that say to you? I see some pretty rapid rotation in that. Big, yeah, that's rotating rapidly, that one on the left part of your screen there.
That's right, Gary. It's we might, it's rotating very rapidly, right, pretty much center screen, left center just a little bit. I'm watching the rain curtain starting to turn now. They're turning. So there's a lot of activity in this. We're starting to get a little bit smoother. Yeah, it's getting a little smoother on the backside. It's all kind of coming together now, Gary. But nothing on the ground, like I said. But it's really starting to. It looks like it's really starting to try to ramp up.
Lake Fuquay. It's
here moving. Right now. Like I said, I'm just south of 29. It looks like it may be Bray. It's just off to my right here, up here at the Bray School and everything. But nothing on the ground yet. But it is definitely. It's really trying to think about it, Gary.
Yeah.
And get this done. But again.
If it keeps moving, it's going to, where's Bray? Show me Bray. Ray's right there. So Bray area. Also, we have Clear Creek Lake, and we also have Lake Fuquay down the road a ways. Lake Fuquay is behind to the east of Sky News 9, but there's obviously some areas out there where people might be fishing or boating or whatever else. So keep in mind, Bray area throughout northern sections of Stevens County, and that's along Highway 29. And I see James is right there, very close to Bray. Sky News 9 is right there. We see Lake Humphreys and Clear Creek Lake and Lake Fuquay. Lake Fuquay is down the road away. So, people out there, call them. and Twitter them, Facebook them, whatever you need to do, let them know. This thing's still trying to get organized. At times you see really, really low, rapid rotation. And what we might see first would just be debris on the ground. It's just hard to say. I don't see anything, it looks like, at this moment. So, Jim Gardner, Sky News 9, what do you have?
Well, that's Bray Water Tower right there in the center of your screen, the white water tower. And you can see, well, excuse me, that's a water tower out east of Bray. If you go back just a little bit left there, Rich, you're going to see the town of Bray, or really the school of Bray, is just right there on top of the hill there, little rise. That's Bray. And then we come back to our right. You're going to see, boy, look at that, Gary. Look at it, it just kind of squared off there at the bottom. That is really low to the ground, really low to the ground. I don't see anything visible yet, but it's starting to wrap the rain up around it, Gary. Now we're running into another little problem here as we're watching this storm. If we come back to the left, we also got that storm out there that's a little bit further to the west. And then as we come back to keep coming to our left, Rich, we got this other big storm right here. You can see this huge rain shaft. That's moving up on me. It's moving up on, I would say that's Lake Humphreys. It's just on the south side of it. It's getting ready to move up on the south side of Clear Creek Lake. So we're going to have to move a lot further east here in just a minute, Gary. But again, I'm looking back at this storm in the wall cloud. It's just really impressive. I don't see nothing on the ground right now, but it could drop it at any time, Gary, at any time. So I don't see. I'm just looking for power flashes now because the rain is getting heavy and getting wrapped around it. But really, really impressive storm. And we're going to turn around and kind of head out east, Gary, and get a little bit distance on these, and we'll get right back to you. Jim Gardner reporting live from Bob Mills, Sky News 9. Back to you.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. We're looking at the top of the screen there on his shot. You can see rapid rotation around the wall cloud. And there could, you got the rain in between now. So anybody that lives out there, just keep in mind tornado warning continues. As you look at that shot, I will tell you the storms, another storm developing at Okarche. Okarche is just northwest of Oklahoma City. Another one developing there. Other storms, not severe, but they're skinny, but they have some little cyclonic indication on it. Northwest of Cashion, west of Cimarron City, west of Cedar Valley. This one storm looks like it'll move up right toward Crescent. So you guys, Logan County, southeastern Kingfisher County, just stay alert to the possibility of severe weather with those storms. Oklahoma County, good shape. There's not a storm in Oklahoma County. There's not a storm at El Reno or Yukon. There's not a storm over at Wellston. So that area is all good. And we drop a little bit to the south.
And on this storm, we are getting a report of another wall cloud. It's 3 miles northeast of Lexington.
How far did you say?
3 miles.
3 miles northeast of Lexington. And we'll go and take a look at that. But you can see this is over Moore right now. And I'm not sure what Tarracam looks like down toward Moore, but that storm looks like it's also moving east now. So let me just mark a few places. The northern edge of this storm, east, Indian Hills Road. That's the northern edge of it. And you can take Norman Cam. How's Norman Cam look? Anybody got it?
It's not. They're getting it.
Okay. And then let's do southeast 164th. That's Oklahoma City notation, Oklahoma City Street, southeast 164th. It's kind of the leading edge of this batch of storms over the Norman area. Wind and rain and hail. No sign of a tornado there. And as we talk about the Norman area, we're watching this shot from down southwest. Impressive wall cloud. Should produce a tornado. It may not. And let's see. Hank's right by this storm that's moving off to the east-northeast now. It's east of Noble, east of Lexington, and it's right along Banner Road, Cemetery Road.
South, and there's a new circulation developing to the north. It's going to be north of Bray. Right north of the town of Bray.
Appreciate that very much, Alan Brosey. All right, that's James. That was James Lindsay. Got Alan Brosey out there, too. A lot of people out, a lot of storm trackers out, watching these storms very carefully. Tornado warnings over in Creek County. I'll talk a little bit more about this storm that's in the Norman area for you. Those of you new, there's nothing really to be concerned with at this particular moment. But it's North Norman where it is right now, or northern half of Norman. And it's generally north of 26th Avenue. Generally, this is in the west part of the city, and it's right along Interstate 35. So it's east of Interstate 35, and you get over in the eastern part of Norman. It's north of Lindsay. It's north of Lindsay. So it's North Norman, and then runs on up northeast into Oklahoma City, even though it's in Cleveland County, and it's east.
And they're showing Norman Cam there in the bottom.
Okay, and how's it look? I can't even see it. You see anything?
It's raining.
Raining? Okay. All right, appreciate that, guys. And let's see, there's Lake Thunderbird that's going to move over. There's no tornado warning on it, just some wind and rain and lightning. And lightning, as you probably know, is very dangerous. And when there's a chance of hail and wind, just stay away from the windows. The strongest core of the